Yes, America's pastime in the American Dream City, Arlington, Texas. Today, day 3 of the 2023 College Baseball Showdown, pitting Vanderbilt against Texas. Welcome inside, everybody, here at Globe Life Field inside the broadcast booth alongside Mike Harge. I'm Danny Lee. Glad you can join us once again, and we start things off bright and early on this Sunday. Perhaps bright and early for Texas because they're trying to get off the deck, Mike. 3 for 29 this weekend with runners on.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating weekend for the Texas Longhorns, but knowing them and knowing the work that they're going to put in, they're going to come out ready to play early this morning.
And at the same token, Vanderbilt, it's like Nigel Tufnell here, spinal tap. This one goes to 11 because they were on the wrong side of an 11-run tally on Friday, but then they came back and won 11-9 against Oklahoma State. So for Tim Corbin, normally we're talking about pitching, it's been the offense so far.
Yeah, it's been very exciting to watch this team. We know about all the accolades from some of the other players on there, but they're coming out ready to play, and it's been really exciting to watch those guys get after it.
And speaking about the Vandy boys, taking a look at some of the key players, Calvin Hewitt has been one of the guys performing at the plate.
Oh, he's been swinging the bat well, and that's what I want to continue to see today. I expect him to have a big day again against the Texas Longhorns.
And about those Longhorns, the top of the lineup, we've been highlighting them all weekend long, Mike, and you're looking at Porter Brown today, the TCU transfer.
Yeah, Porter Brown is an older player, so you expect a little bit more out of him. Got a big home run early on the weekend, but now he needs to get back focused and kind of get this Texas baseball team going.
And we've kind of showed our hand early here, but talking about your keys to the game as we look in on Vandy and Texas.
Vandy just needs to stay aggressive as they've been all weekend. And you said it, they put up 11 runs and they've been real aggressive at the plate. So let's see what happens there. And for the Texas Longhorns, you got to make sure that you just win, baby. That's all it is. That's what they've been trying to do, and that's all they're trying to get done today.
It's the old Al Davis truism. All right, well, these are two teams that the last time they met was at the College World Series 2014. What sorts of things are we looking for here? Because as we talked about, Vanderbilt's got the advantage of having a little bit more rest, right? They played earlier than Texas yesterday. And Texas was deadlocked late in that game against Missouri. Tough break, a lot of pitches thrown, over 300 combined, and they don't have the benefit of having as much rest as Vanderbilt does.
Yeah, it's just a mind over matter type of situation for both teams. You can sit on your laurels because you won yesterday, but you can also lose today. And Texas, on the other hand, they're just trying to find any way to get a victory. There have been changes in the lineup. Coach Pierce is just trying to piece some things together and see what kind of energy we can get today.
All right, so 9 years ago when these two teams last played, it was for the right to get to the final of the College World Series. Vanderbilt won. They went to the College World Series, beat Virginia, winning their first of 2 championships for the baseball program. Texas just coming out today trying to get their first W. We'll see how this one shakes out. We've got Vanderbilt, we've got Texas. David Pierce, Tim Corbin talking things over, hoping to come out of Arlington with a victory when we return here on Flow Sports.
At Higginbotham, for 75 years, we've put you at the center of everything we do. The people you care about, your community, your business, your success. We listen to what's most important to you because that's what's most important to us. People first service drives us. Leading with values defines us. But you make us. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Max, are you able to hear me talk back to you at all?
You hear us? You hear us, Max? Yeah, Mike was trying to ask something.
Okay.
Welcome back to Globe Life Field. Taking a look at the starting lineup, Enrique Bradfield. We've been talking a lot about his stolen base prowess. Haven't seen a lot of that yet, and we haven't seen him break out preseason All-American quite yet. 1 for 7 on the weekend. R.J. Austin and R.J. Schreck in tandem. Perhaps the first time in baseball history we've seen 2 RJs back-to-back. I don't know, I'll have to fact-check that one. Calvin Hewitt, who we documented, Parker Nolan, Davis Diaz, Jonathan Vastine has done well at the plate. TJ McKenzie getting the start at right field as R.J. Schreck is the designated hitter today. And Alan Espinal getting a start. He's only played 24 career games for Vanderbilt, the junior, getting Jack Bulger some rest.
Yeah, it's early in the season. You don't want to wear out your catcher. But as long as you can get as many at-bats as you can early, that's the most important part. And speaking a little bit about Enrique, that is the part that everybody's been waiting to see. We wanted to see that flash of speed, and I think we might see it today.
And when you talk about these 2 programs, we talked a little bit about it at the top of the show, but these are 2 schools combined 8 national championships, 6 for Texas, 2 for Vanderbilt, tied for 3rd all-time with 21 first-round draft picks behind only Stanford and Arizona State. So a lot of success for these 2 programs, and certainly a lot of eyeballs will be on this matchup as we see Travis Staley taking the mound for the Longhorns today. 6-foot redshirt sophomore from San Antonio, California. Made 3 starts a year ago, 3-1, 6.03. What are we to expect here from Travis, Mike?
Travis got a good fastball that's going to touch probably about 92 at the top. And then he's got a good breaking ball. I mean, he's coming in trying to be consistent and taking over that Sunday role for the Texas Longhorns. Most importantly, he just needs to throw strikes and see what this young defense can do behind him.
Yeah, Texas pitchers yesterday threw 154 pitches, and after on Friday, Lucas Gordon had a good start. Yesterday, Zane Morehouse went 4 innings. The bullpen had it. And now we'll see what Staley has in mind against this Vanderbilt hitting crew. Enrique Bradfield, R.J. Austin, and R.J. Schreck. We're glad you can join us here today. Texas a season ago, 47-22. Looking for their first win of the year, looking for their first win of the Showdown, because as we've mentioned, they were 0-3 a couple of years ago, 0-2 here today, and you saw the look on David Pierce's face this morning. It's been a long weekend for the Longhorns.
Yeah, he's just trying to figure it out. I mean, it's been a trying time, and it's still early, and I don't want to put too much on it, and that goes for Vanderbilt, it goes for Arkansas, it goes for Missouri, it goes for TCU. You don't want to put too much stock in this weekend, but you do want to see how your guys respond so you can address that later on.
Well, and Mike, we'll see it in the batting order. You didn't see that there's Tim Corbin, 21st year head coach at Vanderbilt, but an entirely new infield that we saw for the first couple of games. Carlson at third, O'Hara at short, Duplantier was the designated hitter the first couple of games at second base, and Constantine at first base, with Gilmet returning behind the plate. So shuffling the deck a little bit here.
Absolutely. The only thing that's consistent is the outfield right now. Yeah. And so we're going to see what we can learn from these young players.
Yeah, and the spotlight will be thrust on that outfield when they come up to bat, the top 3 in the order. All right, here we go. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday morning. First pitch, swinging, and Bradfield skies it out to center field. Kennedy hanging out just a couple of feet over and makes the catch for the first out.
Bradfield was ready. 10:30 means nothing to me.
Yeah. Mentioned 3 away from tying the Vanderbilt record in stolen bases, but they only had 1 hit and 8 at-bats this weekend. And here's R.J. Austin. It was Polk hitting in the number 2 spot first couple of games. Austin was hitting 6 now, the third baseman hitting in the number 2 spot with Polk out of there, designated hitter. Pitch away. R.J. has gone 2 for 8 so far. This weekend, an 11-4 loss to TCU on Friday, and then an 11-9 win against Oklahoma State yesterday. Swing and a miss, pulling the string. And we've seen a lot of offense from TCU. They're going to be playing Missouri in the late game. That game went to the wee hours. At least if you're on the East Coast yesterday, they scored another 18 runs, 29 runs in 2 games for TCU. And I see some purple shirts out there. Either they bought the weekend passes.
Yes.
Or they were just, hanging around, figure they come in early today.
I think it's definitely the weekend passes, and what better way to start off your weekend than opening weekend of baseball.
Yeah. Back to the hill goes Staley, right-handed pitcher, Reagan High School from San Antonio. Foul back. 1-2 the count to Austin, freshman from Atlanta. You know, just as a side note, because I am kind of finicky about this. So Staley is pronounced Staley. His last name is spelled S-T-H-E-L-E, right? Last year they had a right fielder, Murphy Staley, same pronunciation, but it was spelled S-T-E-H-L-Y. What happened to S-T-A-L-E-Y? I don't know. The most interesting ways to spell Staley they've had in Texas. Pitch away, 2-2.
And Murphy Staley was a California guy. So
Yep.
there you go.
And there's a couple of California guys in the lineup. Don't blame me. I know I'm included
They
in
knew
the
you
weekend.
were doing the broadcast, so
Yeah.
they decided to make you feel a little bit at home.
Yeah, Lucas Gordon on Friday is an LA guy, too. So all this I hear about LA people and California people going to Texas, they are getting recruited there, don't get me wrong. Swinging just gets a piece of it going by. R.J. Schreck, designated hitter today, waiting on deck. Vanderbilt at 39-23, 14-16 all-time meeting. This is number 15 between the two schools. 7-7 all-time between the two. But high stakes the last time these teams met 9 years ago in Omaha. Off speed, turns on and rips it foul.
Wow.
That's an easy souvenir. Well, I say easy and then
Just keeps moving away from you. Longhorn fan, got it?
yeah, we saw some catches yesterday. You saw it in the open if you were with us. You know, a barehanded catch while holding a beer and catching a fly on the home run yesterday. Staley comes back. This one's chopped. Third base side. Carlson's got it on the hop. Throws high, and Constantine couldn't come down with it, and Austin is safe at first.
Good hustle down the line by R.J. Austin. But that's a routine play. You got to make a strong throw. They're going to review that to see if he came back down on the bag. It's a bang-bang play right here. Ooh. All right. I'm 1 for 1. I'm 1 and 1. I'm 500 right now. I'm going for the record. Here we go. Oh, yeah, he's out.
Yep. Might just save Carlson from getting the error here, but they'll go and review their crew. Mike Moore is home plate umpire. Michael Banks at first.
Oh, yeah, great work by our crew, too, with that perfect angle.
Andrew Fulton at second. Shane Matheny, the third base umpire. I don't know that they're going to spend too much time on this, so we'll see it. Presumably will be out number 2. The call is safe as the default call, but I think there was enough evidence there.
I think so, too.
I'm
like
not
the
venturing, man. I'm staying 0 for 0 over here.
And I like got to live on the edge. Got to live on the edge.
I'm just pinch running, Mike. That's all.
Well, you're out.
Yeah.
Well, those are the times where you notice that the coaching staff and the dugout reacted quick instead of waiting to ask for the review. So I think they saw it well as we did, where they knew he was out at first base. I'd be shocked if they called him safe.
As a look at R.J. Schreck waiting to stand in. He 1 for 7 this week. First year in Nashville. Transfer from Duke, and they do call him out. So E5 becomes 5-3. Take away the error, and there's 2 outs in the inning, and Schreck will come up.
Schreck. One person, Tanner Carlson, is really excited about it not being an error.
Yes. Remember, Texas defense #1 in the nation last year. So here comes Schreck. Went from one very good academic school, Duke, to another in Vanderbilt.
Well, he made a smart decision.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Graduate transfer, foul back. A class All-American, too. And that's something that Tim Corbin was talking about going into the season, that he said that this is his best academic team that he's had.
I would expect nothing less from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, seriously. I know we mentioned the fact that only private school in the SEC, smallest enrollment, and lofty academic standards at that. Count 1 and 1. Of course, Texas no slouch. They were part of that public school Ivy League.
Absolutely.
This one popped up, left side, going out Carlson. He'll give way to O'Hara, and O'Hara makes the catch. Short left field, and Vanderbilt retired without incident. Through the first half inning, Texas coming up against Vanderbilt here on Flow Sports. Back inside Globe Life Field for day 3 of competition here to start the college baseball season, and taking a look at the Longhorns. Yes, we've been talking about it, scuffling at the plates. Just 2 of 19 with runners on, 2 of 12 with runners in scoring position. Can they flip the script today? Well, they've got the top 3 as we've seen them through the first couple of days: Kennedy, Campbell, and Brown. Gilmet, the USC transfer, comes back in. Jalen Flores now at the designated hitter position as he played third base the first couple of days. Jaden Duplantier, who was the designated hitter, moves up in the lineup behind Flores. And then you've got Constantine at first base and the California guys. Carlson and O'Hara third base and shortstop, respectively. On the mound for Vanderbilt, Devin Futrell. They've been holding on to him for the Sunday start this weekend, trying to come away with the 2 out of 3 victory total here in Arlington. 6'5", 200-pound sophomore from Pembroke Pines, Florida. And something that Tim Corbin talked about is he's got a pretty good changeup. This is a pitch that he's been kind of honing for much of his life, because the story on him was his dad would not let him throw anything else than a fastball changeup until the age of 13, so he got pretty good at throwing that pitch.
That's good, though. I mean, sometimes you hear about some of these younger kids throwing a lot of breaking balls early. And then the word that everybody uses, or the name that everyone uses, Tommy John, because of that. So I like that. I like that approach. Now let's see how good this changeup is today.
Yeah, Corbin called one of the most consistent freshman years that he's ever seen since he's been there in his 21 years. Went 9-3, freshman all SEC, 3.41 ERA, was second in the SEC in wins behind only Chase Dolander of Tennessee, who had 10. All right, so face against Eric Kennedy, Dylan Campbell, and the aforementioned Porter Brown. Showing bunt, and we mentioned Kennedy, who has not been shy about putting one down. 31 bunt hits in his career, 2 for 9 this weekend, 3 strikeouts. But that top of the lineup, Mike, is something that we've been documenting a lot. 3 of 24 combined, and those are the 3 that are going to be expected to drive the Texas offense this year. Yeah,
they're a vital part of the success that Texas is going to have. And as they go, Texas goes.
Check swing back to the box. Not the most aesthetically pleasing underhand, but it does the job nonetheless. 1 away. They bring up Dylan Campbell, who is 0 for 7, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Not normally the Dylan Campbell line they're used to seeing.
Yeah, that's an important part of it as well. You start looking at Eric Kennedy, looking at Dylan Campbell, and of course Porter Brown. Those guys are the most experienced guys, so there's a lot that is expected of them. And I think a lot of it, too, is they're just all excited to be playing, and every pitch to them looks good, and they're trying to do too much with it.
Futrell back to the mounds, deals high and away. Futrell from Pembroke Pines, Florida, American Heritage Schools. He was a high school teammate of Bradfield in center field. It's a high school that's had a lot of talent come out of there. Tristan Casas, Red Sox first baseman, Zach Collins, Dave Villar for the Giants, Eric Hosmer has been around Kansas City now with the Cubs. Working quick Futrell, and that pops out of the glove of Espinal. They count quickly 3-1 to Campbell.
Futrell has an interesting approach. I mean, it's get on the mound and start going straight downhill. Comes set and lets it rip.
Swing and a miss to make the count full. He's a guy that, you know, as a much younger iteration of himself. He has always been the youngest guy in his travel teams, high school teams, always been the kind of the guy to look after, but facing older guys. But somebody who's never been afraid to throw hard. In fact, his family home in Florida still has the holes in the fence and the pitches he threw after learning some of them or watching YouTube younger version of himself. A walk will send Campbell to first, and Porter Brown comes up. You know, we've gotten to the point where these guys are young kids, and we're talking about watching YouTube as young kids. Yeah, and I'm saying it out loud, and I'm sounding older and older every day. Here's Porter Brown, who you were documenting in the open, Mike, as a guy to look out for here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he comes over from TCU and trying to be a part of this Texas Longhorn family, but he's also experienced. I mean, grad transfer, and there's a lot that is expected of him, and that's why he's in the 3-hole, because they expect a lot from him. Ensconced
in left field as he played that position at TCU all 4 years there. Throw over there to first. Back on the bag is Campbell.
You know, during our time with Coach Pierce, he said when he gets going, he's just as good as anybody in the country, Porter Brown.
Futrell, the sophomore. This one's grounded. Left side, Diaz has it. He'll take it to the bag, throw down to first. Pulls him off. So it does not end the inning. And it extends it for Guillemette.
Looked like he got it out in front a little bit. And good play. Coming across the infield, just left it high. Didn't come over the top on that ball. Threw a kind of sidearm, which kind of made it run up the line.
It's on the fielder's choice. Campbell erased. Brown at first. 2 outs, and Guillemette has a chance. Let's see if Texas can take advantage. And you wonder, too, you know, 3 straight days of baseball, nothing unusual, but 3 straight days of this competition. You wonder how teams will come out on a Sunday.
Oh, they better be focused.
Yeah,
I know that.
Strike taken by Guillemette. 1 for 3 in the start Friday. Came in the 6th inning yesterday as a defensive replacement. 1 for 4 total. Swings and misses, and quickly 0-2. He's another California. I'm going to say Yorba Linda, California. Orange County area.
Trying to give us some of that California love.
You know, hey, in Texas, the Texans are going to get 80 degrees this week. You know, I'm going back to LA after this one, and it's going to be in the 40s there.
Texas people just went through that here the last couple of weeks.
Yep. Remember a couple of years ago when they had to put off the Showdown a couple of days because of the freezing cold weather.
Yeah, it was very unusual for the state of Texas to be that cold, where ice everywhere and people couldn't move around. Power grids were going down, so there was a lot to unwrap.
89-mile-an-hour offering, high and away to Guillemette. Transfer from USC. Ryland Galvan got the start yesterday behind the plate, but Guillemette came in for him after 6. Futrell back in there just with 1 second to go on that pitch clock. Line drive to left field, coming on and making the play, Hewitt. And did he grab it? He did. Oh, wow. Highlight stuff from Calvin Hewitt to end the Texas first.
What a great jump by him in left field. He's my player to watch. Of course he needs to make that kind of play. Great jump, great dive, and we might see that one a little bit later.
Yeah. A gem from Calvin Hewitt to end the first inning after 1 here in Arlington, scoreless between the Commodores and the Longhorns. Back inside Globe Life Field, 2023 College Baseball Showdown Day 3. Can you believe it, Mike? Day 3 already?
Day 3 of the College Baseball Showdown right here at Globe Life. This has been exciting, though, because we've seen all types of crowds.
Yeah.
We've seen all types of people. You can always spot them, that people that really just love the game, fans of the moment, and a lot of them stuck around last night because of the matchup that was featured between TCU and Arkansas. I think that was the most fans I've seen here in a long time.
Yeah, they show up. You mentioned Arkansas shows up, and they were in the hotel this morning up early after that 18-6 defeat to TCU, but they were not as jovial as they were on Friday after they beat Texas. Well, accepting these couple.
Exactly.
You know.
Kids are up early this morning getting, hey, what do you want to do today? We're going to go watch baseball.
Go watch baseball.
Gotta love it.
All right, as we said, where else but in the American Dream City, as they call Arlington. America's pastime continues. Calvin Hewitt, who ended the Texas first with that great play in left field. Parker Nolan and Davis Diaz in the second inning against Travis Staley, who missed his 21 season with surgery. Came back last year, appeared a lot out of the bullpen, and as we've talked about all weekend long, Tanner Witt being out still with the Tommy John surgery. Despite that, making 2 appearances last year, preseason All-American. He's still at least a few months away, so given opportunities to the Texas rotation. Fouled off. Count 1-1. Texas coming off a couple of College World Series appearances. Vanderbilt trying to get back there. Last time they were there was in 21. They've been there 5 times, all under Coach Corbin.
Yeah, he's done a great job with his program. Tradition like no other.
Strike taken when you consider the 16 consecutive NCAA appearances, second longest active streak, longest in the SEC for any coach in the history of the conference. But Coach Corbin, it's such a nice conversation you have with him because he's very much an old school mentality. When he talks about his players, he compares some of them as this is grounded to the right side. Dropped by Duplantier, dropped again, and it will be an error that leads to Hewitt getting on base. The #1 defense in the nation making the miscue there. And Parker Nolan will come up. But when Tim Corbin talks about his team, Mike, he talks about, we was talking about some of his pitchers being like Steve Carlton kind of delivery. He mentions George Brett and players that you don't hear bandied about anymore because that's a bygone era. He's a good baseball man, and always interesting conversation with him. Pitch off the plate.
Yeah, he's very direct with his answers and what he was given, and you're right, he would refer to a bunch of his players as old school throwback type of players, and that's fun because I know you like those types of players, and today's game has changed so much, but there's things that are good and bad.
There goes the runner, and safe at second is Hewitt. Vanderbilt was not shy about running the bases last year. They stole 98 bases and 109 tries, both leading the SEC, and they're going to test Gilmet. First test, Hewitt steals second.
Hewitt got a great jump on that pitch right there. He took a look in, so it made it seem like it might have been a hit and run, but he got a great jump and stole that bag easily.
Nolan 2 for 7 on the weekend RBI opportunities, driven in 3 of them. All of a sudden, ball 3 from Travis Staley, 4-year starter at Reagan High School. He was the #4 right-handed pitcher in Texas. Played in the area code games in Long Beach. Dad Chad was a Division II football player at Angelo State. Strike, and his brother Jared rather, a student at the University of Texas. This one popped high. Left field, short left field. O'Hara calling everyone off. Had an adventure there, but still made the catch. One away.
Doesn't seem like any of the plays have looked routine on the infield. And part of that, too, is it's a young infield that's trying to get to know each other, that is also trying to understand the Texas baseball way, and the speed of the game is a little bit different. So there's a lot of adjustments that are being made right now for this young Texas Longhorn baseball team.
Yeah, they had Mitchell Daly there at shortstop first couple of days. And Trey Faltini, who was such a stalwart there at the position, drafted by the Reds in the 7th round, trying to find a replacement. They're taken off again as Hewitt, and he steals third. Second stolen base of the inning for Hewitt.
Once again, another great jump by Hewitt at second base. Those bases are being stolen pretty easily. The pitcher needs to mix up his looks a little bit, and the middle infielder needs to work him a little bit more to kind of hold him closer.
Also pulls Carlson up at third now. That pitch plunked. It was an off-speed pitch, so not much harm done other than another base runner.
And a little
Vanderbilt.
pain.
Yeah,
and
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
It's true. I'm up here. I'm not getting plunked by it. Well, Mike in between innings, you know. Jonathan Vastine will now come up. Vastine with a home run on the weekend. He had that in the opening game in the loss to TCU. 4 for 7, and now an early mound visit from Woody Williams, first-year head coach. 15 years in the major leagues with Toronto, San Diego, and St. Louis. He's actually, interesting about Woody Williams, number 54 on your screen there. He's actually one of 18 pitchers in Major League Baseball with a win against every single team.
That's great. Woody's been around the game for a while, and so he's been a great addition to this young Texas baseball team. You start looking around and seeing who are the top coaches that are out there, and Woody Williams' name came up, and next thing you know, he's replacing Sean Allen and now becoming the pitching coach at the University of Texas. Woody was a great athlete as well, played shortstop.
Yeah, at the University of Houston. He actually followed Coach David Pierce. David Pierce played at University of Houston 84, 85. They did not overlap as far as their careers, but they do go back. Coach Pierce is lifelong Texan, pretty much has spent most of his career coaching in Texas, with the exception being a couple of years at Tulane. Corner base is occupied, and a little bit of trouble here for Staley. 23 pitches thrown, but the error has certainly not done him any favors in the inning. A couple of stolen bases for Hewitt to end up at third, and then the hit batter Diaz at first, and here's Vastine. Showing bunt, pulls it back. Hewitt retreats.
A little quiet here at Globe.
Yeah, after a long weekend of baseball, that the caffeine comes in handy, to be honest. Throw to first base. Hewitt feints toward home. Runner fakes again. This one grounded sharply to second. Duplantier boots it again. His second error of the inning, and it'll allow the run to score.
Travis got the pitch that he wanted, got the type of situation that he wanted, where he could have had a inning double play, but a tough play by Duplantier. Ball's hit right at you. You can't make a step either way. And so sometimes it messes up your rhythm, but it was sharply hit, and it was ready to be a double play.
And what did Tim Corbin talk about? You know, it's interesting because these two coaches spoke with us before the tournament, and they said differing things. You know, David Pierce was talking about the long ball. They had a lot of home runs last year, but Tim Corbin was talking about, hey, you get runners on base, even if it is the error, and move guys around on the stolen base, you put pressure on the pitcher. And what did they just do there? They got runners on, taking advantage of the miscues, threatening with stolen bases, and they put pressure on the defense. swinging a miss, and 2 errors in the inning for a Texas defense that normally, you know, expect to be shorthanded. They've led the Big 12 last couple of years, led the nation last year.
You know, it was something that you and I have been talking about earlier in the weekend. With all the strikeouts that we've seen, the most important part is trying to put the ball in play, because you apply pressure to the other teams, just as you mentioned.
Two on, 1 in on the unearned run. A couple of errors for Duplantier. Getting his first start out there, freshman having a tough time of it in the early going there, and then a throw over there. Travis Staley back to the mound, making just his 4th career start. It's going to be facing T.J. McKenzie. 1-1 count. Appeared as a pinch runner, then stayed in to play right field yesterday against Missouri. Number 8 hitter in the lineup for Vanderbilt. Swing and a miss. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. McKenzie, the senior from Loxahatchee, Florida. He's played all around the outfield for Vanderbilt. Made only 2 starts, though, last year. His brother Tristan has played in the Cleveland organization. He was actually once a draft pick from St. Louis. 34th round in 2019. Gilmet keeps that in front of him.
Gilmet has done a really good job this weekend of keeping the ball in front of him. He's had some tough opportunities, some really tough pitches, but somehow he's been able to keep the ball in front.
Turning, faking the throw, and he's got to fire it over to the shortstop, O'Hara. And you wonder, you know, about the catching position, too, with the pitch clock. I mean, the catcher has always been obviously vital for a staff, but it seems even more so as a steadying influence, number 1. But number 2, as these pitchers have to work faster, sometimes pitches get away, and those catchers got to be on top of it.
No doubt.
Swinging a sharp grounder. Can this do it? O'Hara drops it, and another error. And overrunning the bag at third, but not getting caught in the process. Diaz gets back. But another error this time on the left side of the infield. That'll be an E6 on O'Hara. 3 errors in the inning, Mike.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I was talking to you about earlier, is a ground ball pitcher like Staley. This is a good day for him, but it's not a good day for inexperienced players at this time. And it's okay. They're going to work their way out of it, but I know that in their mind right now, that another ground ball that's hit to me, I start to get into my own head. I've been there. I've done it before. I've booted balls all over the place. So I get it. Now they got to block it out and go make plays.
Here's Alan Espinal, first pitch swinging with the bases loaded. Hits this one deep to right field, over Campbell's head and gone. Grand slam for Vandy.
Wow. That was the Oppo tank right there.
That's just the 2nd career home run for Alan Espinal. He hit one May 18th, 2021 against FIU. And he steps up, first pitch swinging with the bases loaded. Puts Vandy up 5-0.
What I tell you during the commercial, them Vandy boys, they get ready to go. Got a pitch he can handle, and that ball just kept going, kept going. What a drive to right center field. When you can go opposite field like that, that shows you got some strength. Wow.
5 runs, all unearned. How about that for Alan Espinal? Only 25 games. That's only his 25th at-bat in his career for the junior. And he just hammers it to right field. Strike by Bradfield. So 5 runs on 0 hits from Vanderbilt. We've seen some odd score lines in the Missouri game especially.
Right.
That's about as odd as you can see it. I don't know that I've seen too many 5-run no hits and then 3 errors for this Texas defense on the scoreboard right now. Staley going back to work and strikes out Bradfield for the second out of the inning. But it started with Calvin Hewitt getting on after Duplantier dropped the grounder. After Nolan popped out, Davis was hit by a pitch, Vastine and another error by Duplantier. Then McKenzie reached on the error by O'Hara. Alan Espinal stepped up and first pitch whacked it over the right field wall. Second career home run to put Vanderbilt up 5-0.
The part that's impressive about that home run is because everything was happening around with the errors and the emotions of everything, and the very next pitch, he drives it to the right center field wall, and that ball has some good carry on it. I keep looking at it, I'm like, man, that must be the alley right there.
Yeah, with the dimensions of this park, Tim Corbin likened it to the Grand Canyon. Just very odd with the different numbers. This is why I was never good at math and anything revolving around numbers. But you got 334, 372, 410 to the alleys, and 407 to center field. And then 374 to right center field around where Espinal hit it out. And then 326 down the right field line. All these numbers corresponding, as we talked about, to important dates and players in the Texas Rangers history. But these outfielders are not historians. I don't know that they like having to study geometry too much. Strike taken. It makes the park unique, I'll tell you that.
Very much so.
R.J. Austin grounded out last inning.
And those different angles that we were talking about, I mean, it goes in, comes back out, shoots back down, lowers in certain areas.
This one hit up the middle. It's the first base hit of the inning. Even though 5 runs have come in the inning, that's the first hit by the 8th man to come up. And now R.J. Schreck, 9th batter, popped out to short in the first inning. It's been a long inning for Travis Staley and the Longhorns. 39 pitches now. And you know, the Longhorns have dipped into the bullpen this weekend, even though they've had a couple of good starts. Really not, though. You can't put the fault on Travis. I mean, there have been a lot of errors out there, and this inning has been extended overtime.
Right. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about it. As I said, he's a ground ball pitcher that is very consistent with the way that he does things. And if your defense is letting you down, it's going to be tough. Another big rip right there.
Fouled off left side.
With the swings these guys are taking, they must be seeing it really well today.
Right off the bag is Austin, and here's Schreck back in there, 1 for 8 on the weekend. Duke transfer a couple of years ago. A lot of pop in the bat. So someone also to be on the lookout for. Try to test the dimensions here at Globe Life. Takes it inside and low. Schreck with 18 home runs a couple of years ago. 4th all-time at Duke for a single season. 5 runs on 2 hits for Vanderbilt. All 5 runs unearned. This has once again been a difficult spot for Texas. Showdown 2021, they didn't win in the 3 times they came out, and now they're facing a 5-run deficit their second go-around. However, it hasn't been all bad. And they went to the Big 12 tournament last year and finished in the finale of it, but this one's hit hammered right center field, and that's off the wall for Schreck. Coming around to score, R.J. Austin. Schreck on his way to third base. He'll be held up there by Corbin on the triple. 6-0 Vandy.
The ball was absolutely hammered to the deepest part. You were just talking about the dimensions here, and that ball was hit to the deepest part of this ballpark in the gap off the 410 area, and he was cooking around those bases too.
Well, I'll tell you, at Hawkins Field, the home of Vanderbilt, it's 375 to right center field, so I think Schreck's probably thinking to himself, you know, that should have been a home run. Hey, triple's not bad, don't get me wrong, but that should have been a home run.
I've said this before, the most exciting play in baseball is a stolen base and a triple.
Yeah, they've had a couple of steals, that from Hewitt, a triple from Schreck. This one's popped behind home plate. And the 10th man at bat, and it was dropped by the catcher Gilmet. Tried to underhand that right next to the screen. Let's see if there's some mercy shown by the scorer here. That's not given an error. He was right up against the screen, so take a look at this one.
Well, I think it, oh yeah. It's another play that has to be made.
Haven't flashed anything up there yet. Already 3 errors in the inning on Texas. Runner at third base, Schreck. Showing bunt is Hewitt. Yeah, he started off the inning reaching on the error, stealing second, stealing third, and then scoring. On an error, no less. And so they're going to spare Gilmet. No error on that play.
Tough play. But again, one that when your pitcher's struggling, you got to make a play for him.
Yeah, a lot of pitches. There's already 43 now for Staley. Trying to end this one right now. 0-2 the count. Hewitt stays alive. Now, we've seen in college baseball, especially in this park too, no lead safe. Remember yesterday, Oklahoma State Vanderbilt. It was a comfortable lead. Turned into a tight game at the end there, and Vandy won it 11-9. 92-mile-an-hour fastball off the plate. To Calvin Hewitt Jr. from Greenland, New Hampshire. I mean, 21 starts last year, hit .329. This one, soft grounder to short. O'Hara snags it, drops it. Oh boy, another error and a run will score. 4th error of the inning. 7th run of the inning, all unearned. This has been a disaster for Texas.
Another routine ground ball. Sharply hit, but a play that is made 9 times out of 10. And they're continuing to put pressure. What did I say? Put pressure and stay aggressive. Yeah. And that's exactly what Vanderbilt is doing.
Well, you've seen Texas baseball for a while, Mike. I don't know the last time you've seen 4 errors, especially in an inning.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
All by the middle infield. 2 for Duplantier, 2 for O'Hara, and there's the runner going. Hewitt again, 3rd stolen base of the inning.
All by him.
All by him. He reached both times on errors. You know, you see some things in baseball, and sometimes, as old as this sport is, you'll see things that you're like, I don't know the last time I've ever seen that. Well, scorebook looks a little odd. The score line looks even more weird. 4 errors for Texas in the inning. And this inning can't end quickly enough for Staley, now working toward 50 pitches.
Yep.
$11 have come up now with Noland, who popped out for the first out in the inning. This one hit to left field. Will that do it? Brown still going back to the track, reaches up, and it's over his head and off the wall. Hewitt comes in for the 2nd run he scored in the inning, and on his way to 3rd and getting down with the 2nd triple of the inning is Parker Noland. 8-0 Vanderbilt.
He just kept drifting, and that ball was very well hit again. And like I told you earlier, they're taking good hacks.
Yep.
And them Vandy boys are here to play.
This went the other way with it, and it's as if a zephyr has been blowing inside. Here, Globe Life Field went over the head of Brown, and on his way to 3rd, Noland. 8 runs in. and a slew of players running out to the Texas bullpen. I don't think they were expecting to get the bullpen up. They were probably hoping to get a little bit of innings today, especially after the first 2 games, and now they're going to have to warm up in a hurry because Staley's over 50 pitches. 8 runs are in, trying to stop the bleeding, but the defense has not helped out here.
You're right. There's a lot of unearned runs on the board right now because of what has gone on with the 4 errors. And as I said before, the batters for Vanderbilt look like their eyes are seeing it very well, and they're taking healthy hacks right now.
Davis Diaz, the 12th to come up in the inning. He was hit by a pitch. Seems like, what, about 20, 30 minutes ago. That was still this inning. 8 runs in, all unearned. So again, this pitch is fouled back, 1-2. And once again, we say Texas 1 pitch away from getting out of this one. In the pen for the Longhorns is Charlie Hurley. We mentioned Gilmet, USC transfer. Hurley as well, former Trojan. Staley's pitch, 92 miles an hour off the plate to Diaz. Inning started off with Hewitt reaching on an error. Reached on an error again. Stolen 3 bases in the inning. We see a couple of triples, a home run from a guy who had just 24 at-bats coming into today's game. Foul back. This inning has seen pretty much everything you almost can imagine.
Absolutely. You were talking about it earlier. I mean, we got a single, 2 triples, 4 stolen bases, a hit by pitch, a home run, and some errors, and a strikeout.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have that on your bingo card, but
we're just missing the unassisted triple play. We're not going to get it, but
I do well when I have that free space in the middle.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That improves my chances.
Well, I contend that I always lose because somebody else is cheating. You know, one of those. Staley working overtime in this top of the 2nd inning. 8 runs across, none of them earned. Swinging, this one's fouled back. How many times have you seen, and I've been watching baseball a good amount over the years, 8 unearned runs. Not just 8 unearned runs in a game, which is unusual, but 8 unearned runs in an inning.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I've seen multiple errors in an inning. We've seen it this weekend.
Yep.
We've had multiple players have 2 errors on 1 play. So we've seen a bunch of things in this game.
This one's lined down the left field line into the corner, and it's a foul ball. Diaz nearly had extra bases. How close was it? There you go. And you can see in the corner there, too, because we're blocked off there. We couldn't see where that ball disappears into another dimension as far as we're concerned. But you saw in the corner there below the foul pole, you got 329 and then 334 right next to it.
Wow.
I do not envy these outfielders.
Especially the way this is designed. You have to get here early and try to figure it all out.
Yeah. This one golfed into short right field. Campbell comes on, and boy, that was an out. And the Texas fans, you can almost hear the exhaling from the fans all the way back at Austin. But 8 runs come across for Vanderbilt. All 8 unearned. 4 Texas errors. And yeah, Travis Staley and the Longhorns muted as they go to the dugout. Heading to the bottom of the 2nd, 8-0 Vandy.
At Higginbotham, for 75 years, we've put you at the center of everything we do. The people you care about, your community, your business, your success. We listen to what's most important to you, because that's what's most important to us. People first service drives us. Leading with values defines us. But you make us. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Welcome back to play here at the College Baseball Showdown 2023. If you're joining us late, well, you missed a whopper of a second inning. Vanderbilt taking advantage of 4 Texas errors to plate 8 runs, a grand slam from Alan Espinal, who had all of 24 at-bats going in, 1 career home run, and 12 men came up to bat that inning. And now for Texas, after a long second inning, I guess the one thing, the silver lining, if you will, Mike, is it's early in the game.
Yes, and I've told you that. And we saw it throughout the weekend as well. You sit there and you say the one thing about baseball, you can chip away, chip away, chip away. But your time does start to lose a little bit. So you got to go in there and go to work. And the one thing that you don't want to do is have a quick inning if you're the Texas Longhorns, because your pitcher just went through a very long inning and you don't want to have to rush him back out there. So you might want to see some pitches, but Vandy's coming right back after him and throwing strikes, and that's the most important part.
Yeah, Devin Futrell, he was last out on the mound about a half an hour ago. And when we last saw Texas up at the plate, they were getting robbed by Hewitt in left field. So now back out there with an 8-run lead. Hewitt fires a fastball outside, facing Jalen Flores, who started the first couple of games at third base. Designated hitter at the start of this one, 0 for 6 this weekend. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out for the first strikeout for Futrell. And to bring up Jaden Duplantier. Boy, if you want redemption, here's somebody who wants that. And probably named Duplantier or O'Hara right now, hoping to try and turn this one around. Both of them with a couple of errors. And a young middle infield. 2 true freshmen up the middle, with replacements abounding for the infield for Texas in this one after dropping 2 one-run games to start. Daly and O'Dowd had started shortstop and second base respectively the first couple of games. The bunt goes foul for Duplantier. Freshman from Humble, Texas. This is a humbling experience.
Right now it has been.
Futrell fastball away. We're talking about Devin's year last year, and a guy who's always had a little bit of that chip. I mean, the youngest guy on a lot of his teams. He committed to Vanderbilt at the 8th grade level and has stayed with it. In fact, he thought out of high school that he was the ace of the staff at American Heritage High School, and thought, oh, maybe I'll go the first couple of rounds. That'd be an opportunity. That would be the opportunity I would need to jump to the next level. When he didn't hear his name called, put his Vanderbilt shirt on, went to his room and said, all right, let's go to work as a Commodore. Takes a strike. You know, they have their reputation as being a great pitcher's school.
For sure. They have a long list of MLB players.
Swinging a foul back, as we said yesterday. 13 Vanderbilt players were on opening day rosters in 2022. And Futrell's a guy that's always loved, you know, the pitching aspect of it. I mean, when he was younger and when they would take the baseballs away because he threw too much, he would start playing games with his friends trying to strike him out with tennis balls. Well, he strikes out Duplantier and then struck out the first 2 to face him in the inning. And here comes Cam Constantine, who is 0 for 8 in his brief experience at the plate for Texas. And Vanderbilt, this is almost a kind of a second home for the recent memory for some of their pitchers. Strike taken, because we talk about Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, both in the Rangers organizations, and probably won't be long before they're taking the mound here at Globe Life.
I know that's the plan and what they see about it.
Yeah.
You got to see what the Rangers brass feels about that. Jack Leiter pitched in Frisco the last season, and Kumar in the independent leagues, and now they are reunited, and it feels so good.
Yeah, Kumar drafted for the second time. Couldn't come to an agreement with the Mets, so he played that independent league ball and then got taken 3rd overall last year along with Spencer Johnson. Gave Vanderbilt another couple of first-round picks. Swing and a miss, and, well, Futrell comes back after that long top of the second and strikes out the side. Texas goes down quietly enough. We head to the top of the 3rd. Vanderbilt 8-0.
Protecting what matters most is the mission that matters most. At Lockheed Martin, we know today's threats come from behind, above, and below, and we make sure those who serve stay ahead of them by connecting platforms necessary to dominate every domain across air, land, sea, space, and cyber, using technologies that protect in the same moment they detect. The mission is a safer, more secure world. Our promise is to help make it happen.
David Pierce's defense for Texas, #1 in the nation last year. A lot of new faces, as we talked about. They made only 37 errors last year. Mike made 4 in the inning alone.
Yeah, you got to get back to the basics now. You're going to get another opportunity, and that's the baseball gods speaking to you. They're going to give you another shot at this. Those errors are routine errors, and these guys have been playing baseball for a very long time, so they'll get the butterflies out of the way, and hopefully they'll come back out there. And I know for a fact Travis Staley is going to pitch some more ground balls, so expect the ball to be hit to you. But on the other side of that, Vanderbilt going up there and taking advantage of the mistakes that were being made and jumping out there with the grand slam, a couple triples. As you said, we had everything in that one inning. Now we got to get back to the fundamentals if you're a Texas Longhorn. And if you're the Vandy boys, keep swinging that thing.
Alan Espinal, you saw stamping home plate. Why not? Just his second career home run, first time since May 18th, 2021. First pitch, no less, against Staley when he came up after all those errors. All right, here we go. After Vanderbilt sent 12 to the plate, the second inning, Vastine, McKenzie, and the aforementioned catcher Espinal to bat here in the third inning. I mean, you know, that inning was so raucous and crazy for the events on the field that Texas looked like they sent half their contingent out to the bullpen. They weren't even ready to go out there.
Yeah, it happened a little early and it happened fast. And when you don't start the game in the bullpen, it's going to take some time for you to get out there. As you can see, Vandy doesn't have anybody out there.
Staley, 58 pitches to this point. This one's fouled back, as we talked about. Largely a reliever last year. Did not appear in either of the games in Omaha, but he did throw a couple of innings at East Carolina on June 12th. His longest outing was a 3 2/3 inning effort at the Citadel. Got the win, no runs, 8 strikeouts in that performance. Also went 3 innings against Air Force. But hoping for a quick inning here. I think David Pierce probably wants, if he can get it, a couple more innings out of him.
No doubt.
Vastine, who reached on the air and scored 3 runs this weekend, swing and a miss. And they count 1-2.
Good changeup by Staley. Got him on his front side.
Vanderbilt ended their year last year in the Corvallis Regional, losing to Oregon State. A year after they had been in the College World Series. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. Just the second strikeout for Staley. And that'll bring up T.J. McKenzie, who reached on an error and scored on the grand slam.
Great off-speed pitch, down and away. Continued his follow-through. Got him out in front.
And then one note for these two teams as well. You go through the ringer this weekend in the Showdown, and, well, they're going back to their respective homes to open up the home portion of their schedule on Tuesday. So you just get that one day off. You'd like to leave on a high note, but if you're Texas, it's, boy, you got to have that short memory in baseball and kind of get after it in this one, and then you got to go back to work against Texas A&M Corpus Christi on Tuesday.
I'm willing to bet there's going to be a lot of ground balls hit here in the next couple hours, actually. Yeah, the difference, too, Texas plays on turf.
Yeah.
And you come and play on the grass, and it makes it a little bit different for you. But you still got to make the routine plays. And as I said, they're going to get better in working at it, as will all these teams. And, again, Vandy is doing what we expected them to do, putting the ball in play. And that's the most important part. Good things happen when you put it in play.
3-0 quickly to McKenzie with Espinal waiting on deck. Take strike 1. McKenzie, the senior, getting a start in right field for Vanderbilt, where TJ Schreck had been prior to today. This one's hitting the corner, disappears in there, and it's a fair ball. And another extra base hit for Vanderbilt, their 5th hit of the game, and it's a double to go along with 2 triples and a grand slam. Yeah, just 1 single for Vanderbilt.
As I said the whole time, they've been seeing the ball really well, and they've been putting that barrel on the baseball, and this has been very impressive by them. By even those errors that were made, those were hard hit balls.
Yeah.
So they are seeing that they're picking it up out of his hand really well.
Yeah, and you know, Globe Life Field is one of just 5 stadiums in the big leagues with turf, but this is a synthetic grass, they call it, and a lot of research went into this surface when they put it in to kind of mitigate the injury risk. Oh, and now getting picked off at second base is McKenzie. Got a little pickle going there. Throw down to the second baseman Duplantier, and it is Duplantier making the tag. So McKenzie picked off at second. A break for Texas with 2 outs and Espinal at the plate. But this is a surface, Mike, that it's a little different unto itself. A lot of research went in on, you know, to try and make it more realistic like grass and also to mitigate the injury, but it does play fast.
That breaks down to a 1, 4, 5, 6, 4 put out. That's, you sit there and watch one of those plays and you're like, okay. You're only supposed to make 2 throws on that.
Yeah, this scorecard's a mess.
It absolutely is. That's what I was looking at. And back to your point about the grass, you're right. There's so many different types out there now, but when you practice on turf every single day, it makes it a little bit difficult for you when you're not used to seeing this.
It's so funny when you remember the old stadiums, and we keep going back to that, but you know, you remember the old stadiums with the turf, or you know, Toronto, you talk about Vladimir Guerrero Sr., who would be able to hit balls on a bounce.
Right.
I mean, those, if you hit a chopper like that, it might have gone up into the air for a base hit. This one's grounded down to third on the hop. Nice play by the first baseman, Constantine. And Texas getting back to the basics with defense right here, and they retire the side in order. 8-0 Vanderbilt as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning.
At Higginbotham, for 75 years, we've put you at the center of everything we do. The people you care about, your community, your business, your success. We listen to what's most important to you, because that's what's most important to us. People first service drives us. Leading with values defines us. But you make us. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired.
Carlson, O'Hara, and Kennedy for the Longhorns. Yeah, the fans. We've seen the arm folding. You know, that guy in the bottom left right there is pretty much what we've seen a lot from the Longhorn fans this week. And the first couple of games were frustrating in the sense that Texas couldn't come up with the hit they needed, right? As we talked about yesterday, 2 for 19 with runners on, 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Today's been a whole other story. It's been the defense, 4 errors, and the 8 unearned runs, and they face a mountain of a deficit here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, this is not how they expected today to start off. You know, you come out and you have your mind set on doing something great today, and then all of a sudden it kind of flips on you. Yeah. And you got to try to figure out a way to recuperate from it and try to get it right back to where you need to be. But on the other hand, as I was saying about Vandy, this is exactly what we expected to see from them. They were prepared, they came in with the right mindset, and they took advantage of the costly errors.
Futrell deals strike 1 to Tanner Carlson, third baseman, transfer from Long Beach State. Yeah, Long Beach State transfer, well, USC transfers. California certainly more represented on the roster than you're used to seeing at Texas. Carlson was a pinch hitter and a sacrifice in the 6th inning yesterday. Takes away 1 and 2, and Futrell back to the mound with a luxury of an 8-run lead, dealing strikes. They used to call him the backyard ace based on his exploits against some of his friends. And he was, you know, middle school and high school age, and a lot of those friends went on to Division I schools.
Well, they're facing a big-time prospect in the backyard.
Yeah.
Even at the early ages.
6'5", he doesn't have to really worry about standing on his tiptoes, look over the fence, and invite the kid next door. He's just, hey, come on over. And he's always been a headstrong guy, too, from what we were told. You know, early on, they said, hey, you're left-handed, you'd probably be a pitcher or first baseman. He said, fine, I'll be a catcher instead. Well, he took the advice, though, and he's a pretty good pitcher.
He is definitely that.
Fastball away on the full count, and the second walk of the game for Futrell. That was 35th pitch of the game for Futrell. Cade O'Hara will come up. Shortstop freshman getting his first start. It's been a tough one so far for O'Hara. His brother Michael Torres, speaking of USC, played a couple of years at USC before transferring to Texas. In fact, hit a 25-game hitting streak for the Longhorns, still the record there. Had that lineage. Pops up the bunt. Futrell grabs it on the fly. 1 away. And I'll bring up Eric Kennedy with Dylan Campbell to follow.
Yeah, this is the time for Eric Kennedy to get it going. I mean, now you, as a batter, you're working on your approach at the plate, trying to figure out the fundamentals to keep everything going. Some of these at-bats, as you said, you got to chip away. Yeah. You got to chip away. But Futrell is not giving them the opportunity to chip away.
Well, you saw yesterday as that game ended at Vanderbilt and Oklahoma State, you saw Tim Corbin holding court in the dugout before he talked with us. And there were teachable moments. Vanderbilt was up 11-2 after 4 innings in that game, and they saw Oklahoma State score 7 unanswered and make it a game. Certainly probably touched on that point here going into today's game. This one's grounded right side, and now Texas with a couple of base runners. Base hit for Kennedy, just his 3rd in 11 at-bats on the weekend. Campbell still looking for that elusive hit. There he is standing next to Steve Rodriguez. Steve, the hitting coach, infielding coach, recruiting coordinator after spending 19 years at Pepperdine and then a handful of years at Baylor from 2016 to 2022. 598 wins as a head coach.
Good fastball right there. 89-mile-an-hour fastball. But coming from a 6'5" pitcher, looks like he's bringing it.
Yeah, he mentioned the changeup, and he's polished to perfection, but having that 8-0 lead, he's firing him in there early and often. Campbell walked his first time up. He's got 2 on. Texas, as Mike talked about, trying to slowly get back into this game. That breaks inside.
Chip, chip, chip away.
Longhorns last time around in the Showdown outscored 20-4 in those 3 losses. Them tighter games this time around, accepting this one to this point. That one runs high and in. 3-1. That's something, you know, obviously a little red flag when you're pitching with an 8-run lead. You don't want to fall behind, but Futrell has done that a couple of times already in this inning.
Correct. You want to still be aggressive towards them.
And now another walk. That's the 2nd walk of the inning, 3rd of the game, and it'll load the bases. and give life to the Texans here, rooting on the Longhorns in this building. And now Porter Brown, who we highlighted, Mike, in the pregame. Boy, this is a huge juncture for him.
Yeah, this is the time. This is the person you want at the plate. And this is the opportunity that he is trying to capture right here. Get a good pitch he can handle, drive the ball the other way, and if he happens to make a mistake inside, then you kind of yank it. But you want to make sure your approach is through the middle of the field. And right now, he just needs to throw strike one.
Does indeed swing and a miss. Fielder's choice in the first inning. And TCU, speaking of his former team, hasn't missed a beat. 29 runs in the first 2 games. 11 against Vanderbilt, 18 against Arkansas. Made quick work on McIntyre yesterday. And now they're going to face Missouri, who had the walk-off win against Texas last night. That'll be at 6:30 local time. Grounded right side, picked nicely. Throw down to short, and nope, off the base, and Texas scores the run. Now the miscue as Nolan goes down to Diaz, and he couldn't handle the throw. And the errant throw, or the errant play on the shortstop from the throw, is going to cost Vanderbilt here. 8-1 now.
I believe that throw by Parker Nolan hit Campbell right in the square in the back. And he's running towards the back.
Oh, yes, it did.
And the shortstop still almost picked it and almost got him out still, but that was a bad throw by Nolan.
So 1 run in, bases still loaded. Kennedy at third, Campbell at second, Brown at first. So the fielder's choice, and it does give the RBI because it is in an area. Hits him right in the back. And here's Garrett Gilmet with the bases loaded, swing and a miss. Quickly down 2 strikes. Now facing adversity, Futrell. This one's swung on and fouled back to the screen. Yeah, I feel like with the tenor of this game so far, expect anything and everything going forward in this one.
We've seen it all already.
It's all at the bottom of the third.
Five errors in a game. I don't think I've seen that.
This one laced out to second base, and they get him forced at short. So the 4-6 double play, and that ends the threat. 1 run does come in for Texas. They leave another one stranded, and the difficulty with hitting with runners on continues to rear its head. 8-1 as we head to the top of the 4th.
Let's go!
Welcome back to Arlington. Yeah, the kids are dancing to one of the famous songs from Lion King. But before we came back from break, they cut to some Texas fans. Well, here's an interesting discussion. You're keeping score, trying to teach your son how to keep score. All right, son, well, you'll never see this on an exam in scoring a baseball game, but in the second inning here, there was 4 errors. Is it E4, E4, E6. And then you had, we had an error on Vanderbilt last half inning, and there was a run in. Well, that's how it is, and we have an 8-1 score line as a result, and Vanderbilt coming up in this inning. We're laughing because they're playing Hakuna Matata, and they cut straight on the scoreboard here to Texas fans who had that look on their face like, there's no way I'm singing. Absolutely no way. All right, we got a new pitcher for Texas. It's Charlie Hurley, so we have an all USC battery.
I knew that would make you happy.
Oh, my goodness. And in the interest of full disclosure, I am a UCLA alum. I am married to a Trojan. So somewhere, somebody's happy about this USC battery. Charlie Hurley and Garrett Gilmet reunited, the two USC transfers in Austin this year. Here in Arlington, a Major League Stadium. It's the interesting things that you see around college baseball 2023. As far as Hurley's resume, 33 appearances, 6.5 ERA, 4.21. 6-5, 4.21 ERA last year, 94 innings pitched, 64 strikeouts. He's a guy who certainly will give him the innings because he was a starter for USC. 6-2, 4.19 last year. And made 13 starts, so he does have that durability and hoping to settle things down.
That is the plan, and that's what Coach Pierce is looking forward to see how this young man can go out there and handle his business.
Pitch inside. The USC, they lead the world in national championships, 12 of them, but they haven't won one in 2 decades. And it's something that we talk about West Coast baseball. It's certainly been transformed. A little part, the portal, and a lot of other factors as well. But pitchers and catchers, at one point we were talking about USC as being one of the premier institutions of developing pitchers. Certainly something that these two schools know very well. You think of guys like Randy Johnson and Chop Ferrick would be first base, and Constantine climbs the ladder to make the play. One out here as R.J. Austin will come up.
That was a great play by Cam Constantine because Bradfield runs so well. He was playing in a little bit, and he had to climb the ladder, as you said, to keep that ball in front of him.
Check swing, they look down to first base, and a swing, says Michael Banks. And for a lot of years too, Mike Gillespie was there at USC, and he's one of the few guys to have coached and played in a College World Series. In fact, coaching in and winning one as a coach and player. Jerry Kindle was the other one. Did it at Minnesota and coached Arizona to a College World Series championship. Or multiple, I should say. This one's chopped left side, deep in the hole at short. O'Hara's got it, but this time no throw, and it'll be a base hit for Austin. His 2nd and 3 at bats today.
R.J. Austin has been very impressive this weekend with this way he goes about his business, the way we talked to Coach Corbin about him. He said he's a no-nonsense guy, but if you watch him, when he puts the ball in play, he puts his head down and get down that baseline, and that's why O'Hara knew as soon as that ball came over, he did not have a play. And I will look for him to run again here in just a second.
Yeah, they've already stolen 3 bases to this point, Vanderbilt. R.J. Schreck in the designated hitting spot for Vanderbilt after playing in right field the first couple of games. He tripled and scored a run in the 2nd inning, drove in a run. And right off the bag is R.J. Austin. Just jumps right off the base. We've seen Vanderbilt do that often today. Hurley, the native of Sacramento, California, the junior. Looks over that way. This one popped high into the sky at Globe Life Field, drifting into foul grounds. Carlson nearly pulled him back into fair territory, but Schreck fouls out for the 2nd out.
Another good hack, but a great play over at third. The ball started, like as you said, started drifting back towards the fair line and made a great play.
Calvin Hewitt, who reached on errors twice in the 2nd inning, in which 12 came to the plate, scored 2 runs and stole 3 bases in the same inning. 8-1 Vanderbilt. All 8 runs from Vanderbilt unearned as a result of the 4 errors in the 2nd inning by Texas. Swing and a miss. Throw down to first base, not in time. Nearly caught Austin. Charlie Hurley, prototypical athlete. Baseball, starting goalkeeper on the water polo team. Basketball at Jesuit High School in Sacramento. His dad, John, played football at the University of Richmond. Mom, Lene, was a basketball player at the University of San Francisco. Strike, 0-2.
So you're saying that there's some athleticism in that
there
family,
is.
right? Just a little
and he's
bit.
got a good, I mean, you know, he's got a good last name. You're a pitcher, your name's Hurley. It's a good last name. Throw over to first base. And you see, you know, we talked about yesterday, you see so many coaches championing those pitchers. They're multi-sport athletes, some of whom that we've seen, or some players we've seen this weekend who are actually, you know, playing multiple sports at their respective schools. I mean, Nolan McClain, Oklahoma State, and Sam Horn in Missouri, both football players in the latter version currently, and in the former in the past.
Well, we've talked about this before. I think all players or all athletes should be multi-dimensional. You should be able to play any other sport. It's just so crazy to me that people want to make you specialized at such an early age when you don't know what the success is going to be.
Swing and a miss. Hurley comes in, strikes out one, leaves one stranded. A base hit for Vanderbilt, but nothing else. We're headed to the bottom of the fourth inning, and it's Vanderbilt 8, Texas 1.
Max, we got Drew Martin that is here with us now. Did you hear me when I said we got Drew Martin?
Head coach David Pierce, University of Texas, Coach of the Year in Baseball America 2018, has done a really nice job with this program. Back-to-back College World Series appearances. And we're joined by someone who knows him very well, Drew Martin, Executive Senior Associate Athletic Director for the University of Texas. Thank you for joining us, Drew.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Have you, I know you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of baseball, especially. Have you seen a game like this so far? We were trying to crane our minds to figure out when we've seen anything quite like this so far.
You know what? I think this is a Texas team we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, really, really young. Half the roster. I'm still introducing myself to half the people. So, you know, we've got some gelling to do for sure. I love the philosophy of trying a little new lineup today. See what we got.
And I'm an LA guy, and there's a lot of we were just talking about a USC battery playing for Texas.
For sure.
People from Texas say, oh, you Californians keep coming out here, but you guys are recruiting some of them.
Hey, we'll go where the talent is.
That's right. Drew, I wanted to ask you, because season tickets are already sold out at the Dish, and that was immediate as soon as the season started. And I guess that's because everybody wants to come and see the new talent. They don't know everybody that's there now. But that's great for the Texas administration when everything happens like that, where all the sellouts are already taken care of.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's something that we're seeing across the board. You know, football this fall, we had over 500,000 person games. I mean, that hadn't happened at UT in a long, long time.
Right.
You know, we look at baseball sold out, men's basketball sold out in season tickets, softball across the street sold out in season tickets. The fans are behind us. You know, the things are going in the right direction. It feels really, really good. We got a lot of work to do. We got to get the butts in the seats, right? It's one thing to sell tickets. It's another thing to get the fans to turn out. But it's going really, really well right now.
And a strikeout looking for Flores. That'll bring up Duplantier. You know, Drew, Texas has been around for a long time, obviously, in baseball. 6 national championships, more College World Series appearances, more NCAA appearances than anybody in the nation. It's not even close. Yet last year, you guys set the home attendance record, averaging almost 7,000 a game. Why the uptick and the record set last year?
You know, again, I think the fans are just they're believing in what we're doing across the board. Texas is certainly. Let's see what happens here.
Foul fly, and that will be the end of Duplantier. 2 away.
You know, they're really backing what's going on here. The vision of an AD like Chris Del Conte, a president, Jay Hartzell, you know, things are aligned and moving in the right direction, and fans are really, really turning out and supporting what we're doing. I mean, back-to-back Learfield Directors Cups, best athletics department in the country, two consecutive years. I mean, that just didn't happen.
And it definitely hadn't happened at the University of Texas, and that's one of the things that I was looking for. As you look at Texas and you can see all the fans that are here today, you start believing in the product, right? And all the success from golf, from swimming and diving, track and field. I mean, it goes on and on. Tennis.
I mean, across the board, out of 20 sports last year, 10 of them, half of them, finish either as national champions or national runners-up. I mean, that's absurd.
Line drive to left field, and that'll retire the side. Normally, we would bid adieu to our guests, but we're going to keep it a little longer, Drew. So you're going to stay with us.
All right.
All right, to the 5th inning. It's 8-1 Vanderbilt. We're standing by with Drew Martin, Executive Senior Associate Athletic Director for the University of Texas, and we'll be back more with the conversation and some baseball after this. State in Arlington, and we're joined by Drew Martin, Executive Senior Associate Athletic Director, Danny Lee, Mike Harge alongside. You know, we've been talking a lot about it because it was officially announced that Texas will be joining the SEC. Finally have a date on that July 1, 2024, which means a couple more years for baseball. What is that process like at the University of Texas? Because that is a big move, and the SEC is high profile, not only in football and basketball, but also baseball, of course, as well. What's that move like for you guys?
For certain, I may be more excited about baseball than any of it. I mean, it's just such a deep league in baseball. Not that it's not in every other sport, but baseball is my sport, and so obviously I'm really, really excited about all the SEC teams going to come to Austin. You know, it's a process that really started with the original announcement that we were going to join. We got to work really, really hard. Chris Del Conte put us to work. Sean Eichhorst is leading the transition team there, and so we really engaged the entire athletics department in looking at every facet of what we do and how it compares to the SEC. So we got a really good benchmark of that. Now that we've actually got a date, we can put those plans into motion. So there's a lot of scrambling the jets right now. Like, oh, it really is happening. It's happening a year early. It's exciting, but there's a lot of work to do to get us to where we want to be.
And we were talking yesterday during the broadcast.
Chopper to second. Duplantier fires the Constantine for the first out.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday during the broadcast about the transformation and going into the different conferences, and not only the Pac-10 and the Pac-12 and the Big Ten doing that, but there's a lot of scheduling that goes into that. There's so much logistical work that is being done behind the scenes, and you were talking about the transition group and everything. Like when the announcement was made, automatically the SEC logo started circulating throughout the Longhorn Nation. And it's just interesting to me because I never thought in all the years of athletics that would happen for even the Pac-12 going to the Big Ten. There's so much changes that are going to abound.
There's no question. I mean, and you do kind of wonder, you know, we're living in a world where we were a little quiet after the carousel for a bit. And now everybody's like, well, when is it going to stop? Are there more teams going to go to the Big Ten? Are there more teams going to go to the SEC? And, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, I think the addition, you know, of the LA schools to the Big Ten, that's a significant move west. Is it just that? There's a lot of speculation out there right now, but we're really focused on, our transition into the SEC and getting Texas house right for where we're headed, and it's going to be fantastic. I mean, again, to see the passionate fan bases coming to experience Austin, our fans getting to go to, 14. I guess we're very familiar with Oklahoma, not that we're not with an A&M and an Arkansas, from Southwest Conference and Big 12, but really 14 new destinations for our fans to go and experience. It's going to be exciting.
Ball 4 to Diaz. He'll go to first base with 1 out, and that'll bring up Vastine. And to your point about baseball too, when you look at all the success, I believe 13 of the last 14 finals in Omaha featured an SEC team, and if you include Texas and Oklahoma's prospective members, that would have been 6 SEC teams in Omaha last year, with teams like LSU not making it, Vanderbilt not making it, Tennessee. I mean, there could be a future. We were talking yesterday where it's Omaha, only SEC.
I mean, with 16 teams and as deep as that league is, I mean, that's a significant possibility, right? Especially when you know the rules that you can't place them in the regionals together.
Right.
I mean, that's the other part that's going to be interesting for the NCAA as these leagues grow and expand. Some of those rules of first and second round games, regionals, things like that, of how is the NCAA going to schedule around some of these mega conferences.
Yeah, and you're right. You start thinking about the regionals and the destinations, and most of the time, Texas has had a regional. Mississippi State regional, Ole Miss regional. So you're correct. It's going to be very interesting logistically, and that's the biggest part about this is the things that we don't know, the dynamics of how things break down. You're in those meetings. You're trying to figure out and get a hold of that. But now it's just so widespread. It's going to be very entertaining.
It is. It is absolutely going to be entertaining. The talent in this league, the talent in the Big Ten, it just continues to grow. It's exciting, to look at what does the next 5-10 years of college athletics really look like. These are blockbuster leagues, and to me it really benefits a lot of the schools. I went to Mississippi State. We struggled for a long time with the expansion of the SEC. We've really seen the resurgence and the attention on some of those smaller schools, some of those lesser funded programs have really risen to the challenge and become perennial bowl teams, perennial NCAA teams, perennial Omaha teams. So if I'm in that league, it's exciting for Texas, but rising tide raises all ships. The addition of Texas and Oklahoma, I think, is really going to raise the profile of the league even higher.
Well, and the NCAA, they had the exploratory committee a few years ago talking about postseason expansion. You saw a little bit in basketball. Obviously, college football is going to expand. Do you foresee that in baseball?
I think that'd be really, really tough. I think that would be really, really tough to see that expansion. I think the way that the NCAA baseball tournament is right now, they've probably got the formula right. You're talking about a guy that lamented the old 6-team regionals where pitching really dominated, right? You have a deep bullpen. Yeah. You were probably, the favorite to get to Omaha. But I think the way they've got the regional, super regional, and the 2 14 brackets and the super championship series at the Omaha level, I think that really is the right formula. It's just my opinion, but I would hate to see us tamper with that.
TJ McKenzie at the plate, 2 outs, and a runner at second in Diaz here in the top of the 5th inning. Vanderbilt leading 8-1.
But Drew, they're going to tamper with it.
Of course.
I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Of course they are. I'm just making my plea for, I think we've got a really, really great formula. We've got 2 phenomenal weekends on campuses and great, 10-day tournament in Omaha. Let's not mess with that too much.
This one popped out right center field on the run. Campbell, and it'll be over his head and over the wall for a ground rule double in the 9th Vanderbilt run.
Back-to-back doubles by McKenzie. TJ McKenzie swinging the bat very well, seeing the ball for one. I mean, he's hit the ball hard all 3 times he's been up.
Yeah.
And that's, again, going to opposite field power. That's one of the biggest keys to their success today.
And it's the first of the 9 runs scored by Vanderbilt that's an earned run. Deserves some note. Drew, we talk about Texas playing here, and the Showdown's one thing, but you guys got to the final in the Big 12 championship in this building last year. How do you guys like playing in this facility? It's pretty cool to have a major league setting for this.
Absolutely. It's a great park, and I love David's philosophy of, this tournament opening in the odd years and going down to Houston to that tournament in the even years and really playing in the two major league ballparks in Texas is really a benefit for us and for our kids. But this setup, this tournament, the proximity of the hotel right next door, I mean, it just is a fantastic setup, not just for this, but the Big 12 tournament as well.
Espinal coming up, grand slam in the second inning, grounded out last time up, swings and slaps it foul off to the left to even the count up at 1-1 here in the top of the fifth inning, joined by Drew Martin, Executive Senior Associate Athletic Director for the University of Texas. And we held him overtime, so we appreciate the extra time because we know how much you love to spend time with us on the air.
I do. I'm happy to be with you guys. I would have loved for that bottom half of the fourth to last a lot longer as well, selfishly. The other thing's been great about this is the crowds have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really fantastic turnout.
Yeah, I was stuck around last night. We did the first 2 games yesterday, stuck around last night for the TCU and Arkansas game. I thought there were a lot of people for Texas-Arkansas game on Friday night, but last night it was a madhouse in here. I wanted to ask you too, Drew. I mean, there's a lot
watch that bat.
that goes into it. Well, you're lucky. You got off on this one. I will get you another time, my friend.
I'm sure you will.
Strikeout, and the bat goes farther than the ball. Well, that ends the inning, but Vanderbilt does get a run in on the double by McKenzie to go up 9-1 heading to the bottom of the fifth. Drew, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back. Devin Futrell starting off the fifth inning for Vanderbilt as they've put 9 runs on the board, and we're joined by Sean Decker. They all got me standing up here. So. Sean, thanks for coming by again. I know we've talked a lot about how the showdown has played out, and this being the third day, and you've seen a lot of crowds. Thank you, Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
How did your feedback so far as this event goes this year?
It's to be perfectly honest with you, like we sat around last night and said, like, when we started talking about this in 2017, like this was the goal, this was the vision, to have over 20,000 people in the ballpark, over 50,000 people for the weekend. It's been a spectacular weekend. We cannot wait for more years to come. We love college baseball, obviously,
right.
And I really think this only gets bigger, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, we were talking about it last night. I was walking around just kind of getting the feel of everything, and obviously you expected the big crowds, but was last night a little bit more than what you expected because the outfields were even filling up?
Yeah, no question. Yes, I would say it was more. I don't think it was a ton more, but it was certainly bigger than we expected.
This one's lined out to left center field. And boy, Bradfield, he's got the speed to do it. This park plays right into his strengths. Grabs it in left center field for the first out. And we've been talking about the quirks and some of the specifics of the park with the dimensions, paying homage to the former Rangers who have played here, the former greats, and the years that mean so much to the franchise. But what is your favorite part about the on-the-field aspects? We asked you about some of the entertainment stuff last time, but what do you like about the on-the-field makeup of Globe Life Field?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, are you talking specifically about like the turf and all that? I mean, listen, for us, what I like the most about it, selfishly, for a lot of the things that we do, is the flexibility of it. The fact that we can play a lot of college baseball right now, and we've got a rodeo in a couple weeks, and we can be flexible with it.
Popped out to right field. I don't know what it is, Mike. When you and I have the guests on, these innings go by like nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas probably wanted somebody in here in the top of the second. Because, again, it was a very extended inning where we saw a little bit of everything. But I want to talk a little bit more about the nuances in this place, because there's so many nooks and crannies that if you hadn't taken a walk around the stadium, you probably wouldn't even know some of this stuff is there. I did it last night because I wanted to see a little bit of everything. There's so many different areas in here where you can hang out, get some food, and have some drinks, but most importantly, you can still see the game.
Yeah, no question. I think the goal is to make sure that a fan could come here a lot of different times and have a very different experience. So whether it's the 7 different clubs in the ballpark, the different concessions and catering offerings that we have, the different sections of seatings. We have 7 different row ones in the ballpark depending on which place you're in. So the goal was to say every day could be opening day for somebody, and I could come to a game 10, 15, 20 times a year and get a uniquely different experience. And so, you know, I think the guys that worked on the design of the stadium and the group internally that put a lot of thought through it really did a great job at executing on that.
I love the fact, too, I was walking out and I was like, man, you can get any kind of bluebell that you want on the way out of here. And all the kids were in there having fun.
No question. And we got Hurtado Barbecue down the line. It's an amazing Arlington brand. We've got a lot of different brands in the building that are indigenous. We've also got a program called Arlington Eats that launched last year, where some of the best restaurants in the country, or in the city here, come for concessions.
This one's launched to right field and a home run for Eric Kennedy.
What a catch by that kid in right field. Just make sure you don't throw it back.
Yeah,
right?
really. And I love, I love that too, by the way, the lights going on and off, because people maybe forget about The Natural, which is one of my favorite Robert Redford. All the President's Men and The Natural. It's kind of even, but I mean, classic movie. I kind of like that they put that in there here. But, you know, Mike and I were talking about it yesterday. At least when I was a kid many years ago, I'm sure you had a similar experience. When you went to stadium, you went there, you saw the game, and you left.
Right.
Now the stadium experience is such that you kind of keep you here. I mean, the food is different. It's gourmet food, and the experience is just something unto itself.
Yeah, and frankly, it starts before you get in the building, right? You know, especially here in Arlington for a long time. To your point, you came, you went into the ballpark, you left the ballpark, you got in your car, and you drove home. And really, the first thing we started talking about is how can you spend one more hour here? So that's where Texas Live came in and giving you a great experience pre and post game. And then, you know, then it started saying, how do we keep you for a night? And that's where the Live by Lowe's hotel came in. And now we're starting to say, how do we keep you here for a weekend? Between what we have here, obviously our partners at Six Flags and AT&T Stadium, the 2 hotels, it's really about the National Medal of Honor Museum opens in 24. So it's really about how do we keep folks here for a weekend? How is this a week-long destination?
Now you got football, too. Got the XFL now across the street, too.
Yeah, big day yesterday for those guys.
This one lined by Campbell out to left field, over the head of Hewitt, and that's up against the wall. Karam's back, and on his way to second base is Campbell with a double.
Dylan Campbell's first hit of the year. I know he's going to have a big smile on his face. EK with the home run. And now Texas has got a little bit of life in them over there. You can hear the fans. Normally they're a little bit louder, right, Sean? You're used to hearing them a little bit louder, but they've been reserved this weekend.
Yeah, no question. I'll tell you what, the couple night games haven't been too reserved here at all, for sure. It's last night was wild, and I know you guys were here Friday night. Was tremendous as well too. I think they're waking up, being our 7th game of the weekend. They're just getting their legs underneath them.
Hit Campbell for a minute there. Thought it was going to be going out, and then it was off the wall, and he'll hold up for a double as Texas starting to get to Futrell. That's 73 pitches for Devin. Yeah, we were talking about some of the stadiums of old, and I remember even as a very much young iteration of myself, even going to Jack Murphy's stadium in San Diego, and you see leaking pipes and whatever. Now it's just like LED lights. I mean, the scoreboard alone is something to behold. Everything that you see at parks, now you kind of have to dial it up, right? Because all these new parks, they're not like the old stadiums where you talk about Busch Stadium, you talk about Veterans Stadium, where it was like a multi-use stadium, football, baseball, and they're kind of cookie cutter style stadiums. Now those things are a thing of the past, and you see more intimate settings, not like 60, 70,000 seats, more like a 40,000 seat where there's really no bad seat in the house kind of thing, like Globe Life.
Yeah, no question. I think also that, it's a more competitive landscape than it's ever been for people's time and money, right? Yeah. So you've got to make it worth their while to come out and see it and to partake in it. It has to be an experience. It's not just the game on the field anymore. And so we like to tell everybody it's our job to throw a great party and a baseball game may break out. And so ultimately that's at our football game in the fall that we host here. You know, whatever we're doing, it really starts with the fan experience first and the action on the field second. From a fan experience, obviously from the baseball side, we start with booking teams and making sure it's quality baseball first.
Porter Brown at the plate. A couple of fielders' choices the last time up. Drove in a run. Texas now 9-2 with Dylan Campbell at second base and Futrell trying to finish off the inning. Over 75 pitches in the books for him already. That pitch gets the outside corner to end the inning, and I think the catcher Espinal forgot about how many outs there were. All right, that ends the inning. 9-2 Vanderbilt over Texas. Sean Decker, thank you so much. President of Entertainment and Executive Vice President of Events for the Rangers. Thank you so much for dropping by all weekend long, and thanks for all that you've done for us and what you do here for this event.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I know it's a long weekend. I hope all the fans at home are having a great time. We appreciate all the work you guys have put in.
Appreciate it.
Keep up the great work, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.
At Higginbotham, for 75 years, we've put you at the center of everything we do. The people you care about, your community, your business, your success. We listen to what's most important to you, because that's what's most important to us. People first service drives us. Leading with values defines us. But you make us. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired.
Welcome back. 2 strikeouts, a walk, 2 innings, and a run allowed by Hurley. And the third pitcher for Texas making his debut, 6'6" freshman, 215-pounder, a native of Austin, Lake Travis High School. Yep, start him young, ladies and gentlemen, getting out to the ballpark. And so George will take over. And he'll be coming on to face the top of the Vanderbilt lineup in Bradfield, Austin, and Schreck here. You know, some good conversations there in the interim, talking about some of the changes afoot, talking about the stadiums. And, you know, I just can't get over it, Mike, whenever you come into parks now, because you have like this, you know, experience from when you were younger and things were so much different. And I know you played in some of those parks, and then you look around now and it's just such a uniquely different thing than where the sport was. Baseball, it doesn't even matter what sport we're talking about, how sports are and the landscape of the competition and building stadiums now.
Yeah, because you want yours to be the best, right?
Yeah.
And the most recent. This is one of the newer ones, so it's the most ones that everybody's talking about. That's why they held the World Series here during the COVID year, and the accessibility that he was just talking about, where teams were staying in that hotel over there and they were able to walk right back. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but like you said, competition is everywhere. Yes. It is, no matter when it's being built, you want the best architecture to be able to help design this deal. And now when you start building it, you want people to come and stay for a while, want to hang out for a while. And you also need shade. You got shade. So retractable roof is always good.
It's interesting, too, because the Rangers franchise isn't that old. It's like we're talking a half century here, but it feels like every stadium has its own era, right? Billy Martin and Nolan Ryan and the Arlington Stadium, and then, you know, across the street at the former ballpark at Arlington with the, you know, Rodriguez and Palmeiro in that era, and then they had the All-Star game there, and now this is kind of like a new era that the Rangers hope will usher in. I mean, with some of the signings, too. Hope we'll usher in finally that elusive World Series championship.
Or at least get a chance to play for one, you know? And I know Ranger fans don't want to hear it, but Nelly Cruz should have caught that ball.
Memory like an elephant here, Mike.
I was watching the game with a Cardinals fan, and she was letting me hear it the entire time.
Yeah, those Cardinals fans can be tough.
They're classy until the game starts.
All right, here's George, the freshman on. So a lot of newcomers to this roster, as we mentioned. You know, Texas only returning 26% of its position player innings from 2022. More returning in the arms department, but still we've seen a few new ones as far as Hurley and then now George. Hurley the transfer, George the freshman. 2-1 the count to Bradfield, who has had a quiet start to the season, 1 for 10.
Yeah, but we got a chance to see him run really fast in the outfield.
Yes.
Making a great play in the gap earlier.
And it's something that we haven't mentioned a whole lot. There's a whole lot of major league scouts out down below us watching the likes of guys like McClain for Oklahoma State and Bradfield, you know, guys who are destined to be drafted very high. Bradfield, you know, kind of being talked about in the same discussion with a guy like Dylan Cruz for this year's draft.
Taylor for TCU as well.
Braden Taylor, yep. It's crazy, you know, TCU's offensive assault yesterday against Arkansas. All 9 starters had a hit and an RBI. I think 5 of them had 2 RBI. It wasn't Braden Taylor, but he did enough damage, had a home run the first day. So now Bradfield get a chance to stretch out the legs a little bit. He was 46 of 46 stolen bases last year, number 2 in the nation, and has 93 of them. Active leader in the SEC in his career. Here's R.J. Austin, couple of singles. A run scored today, 9-2 Vanderbilt. There he goes. And the stolen base, and that ball's thrown into center field by Gilmet, and that'll be the 5th error of the day, allowing Bradfield to go to 3rd.
That's what we wanted to see. That's what everybody's here to see, him get a good jump over there. And Gilmet tried to throw it from his knees because he didn't have a chance to make a good, strong throw.
Stolen base number 94 in the career of Bradfield. Only 2 away now of DeFrance's 40-year record.
Longhorns made some defensive replacements at short and second. O'Dowd has checked in at second base, and Daly stayed in after pinch hitting at shortstop.
Pitch low and away, and R.J. Austin up there with R.J. Schreck to follow. Danny Lee, Mike Harge with you. Glad you could join us. Ben and Pat will be along for the doubleheader coming up. Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Michigan, TCU after this one. Swing and a miss at the plate by Austin. Offensive explosion for Vanderbilt the last couple of days.
Pierce George, the freshman from Lake Travis High School, throws fastball, slider, and a curveball. Sits about 94 on his fastball and 84 on his slider, and then the curveball drops off to 81.
Wow.
Changes speeds well. Big freshman.
Just clocked him at 95. They got a lot of hard throwing arms on the staff for Texas, to say the least. Swing and a miss. Comes back to strike out Austin, still with the runner hanging on at 3rd and Bradfield. And here's R.J. Schreck. Popped out to short, but then it was on. He tripled in a run and scored in that 2nd inning that saw 8 unearned runs score. 4 Texas errors at that point. Then fouled out last time up. Five errors today by Texas. This one's laced to left center field. Ball will drop, and that's the 10th Vanderbilt run. Brought across by Bradfield, driven in by Schreck.
Schreck has taken grown man hacks all day today. He looks very comfortable at the plate, which some believe that pitchers are normally ahead of the hitters at the beginning of the year, but don't tell him that.
It is squaring it up, going the other way. And we've seen a lot of hitters going the other way with it this weekend. Good piece of hitting. Faking from first is Schreck. Throw down by Gilmet.
They're staying very aggressive throughout their time today.
George turns and throws. Constantine and Carlson at the corners, first and third, but as Mike mentioned, O'Dowd, who had started the first 2 games, out there at second base now. And Daly, who pinch hit in the Texas fifth, stays in at short. This one lined to left field. Going back is Brown, got plenty of room, and he'll put it away for the second out of the inning.
Hewitt's another guy that hadn't been cheated on any of his swings at all this weekend. Showed us a little bit of speed the way he was running the bases today.
Parker Nolan coming up, tripled in a run in his 3 at-bats so far today. And Porter Brown looked a little beleaguered there earlier in that, that 5th inning with the double going over the head, and that was the look on a lot of the faces of both the Texas players and faithful. Those 8 unearned runs came in. And this one, actually, the run in this inning in danger of being unearned as well on the throwing error by Guillemette. A rocket to right center field. Campbell on the move. Kennedy converging. Neither one will have, and it'll bounce around. And fortunately for Texas, it will go over the fence. So another ground rule double. Nolan doubles in the run, his second run batted in. Schreck scores it, and it's now 11-2. Vanderbilt leading by that same score line they led yesterday.
Another good swing. Ball in the gap, and that's pretty much the area where he had his triple earlier. Ace Whitehead came in for Dylan Campbell in right field, giving chase.
Yes, that was indeed Whitehead. All right, so a couple of runs in. Pitch from George inside to Diaz, who scored a couple of runs. For Vanderbilt coming up, they got Central Arkansas on Tuesday. Then they're playing UAB on Wednesday, and then they've got UCLA on the weekend. And then the following weekend, they're up at the Cambria College Classic, which is played at US Bank Stadium, football stadium there in Minneapolis. Open league play March 16th against Ole Miss, reigning national champions. That pitch plunks Diaz. Ooh. Gets hit for the second time today. Boy, and that you could hear from up here. That was 83 miles an hour in the small of the back there.
Eey. Not a good feeling.
Got it maybe a little closer to the shoulder. The bases are loaded. Conversation between Guillemette and George on the mound, trying to settle him down while Texas has the arms working in the pen again. Chase Loomis, left-hander out there. In addition, looks like DJ Burke.
Yes, he's back up again.
And they'll make the call to the pen. Looks like they're calling for Burke, the right-hander. So David Pierce making the move. It's 10-2 in the top of the 6th inning. It's been a Vanderbilt assault. 5 errors from Texas's defense here today. We'll be back here in the top of the 6th from Arlington on Flow Sports. Welcome back, everyone. Texas with the new pitcher. It is DJ Burke, junior from San Antonio, Texas. Clark High School. DJ pitched against Missouri yesterday, went an inning and a third, allowing a run, 3 hits, 22 pitches. He now the 4th pitcher of the day, following Staley, who went 3 innings, gave up 8 runs, but none of them earned. Yeah, if you're joining us late, that was a very long 2nd inning. That was extended by 4 errors. Included a grand slam by Espinal, the catcher. 2nd career home run. Hurley, 2 innings. George, 2/3, and now Burke trying to get out of trouble here in the 6th inning as he faces Jonathan Vastine, 2nd baseman, who is 4 for 10 this weekend. Reached on one of the errors in the 2nd inning and scored. 2 away. First pitch from Burke, outside.
Vastine has a home run this weekend and looks to add another. Like his approach at the plate.
Strike taken. Mentioned Texas also back at it on Tuesday after this one, and they're Friday to Sunday in Austin at the Dish. They'll be taking on the University of Indiana, and they've got LSU the following week. So their travails with the SEC not quite done yet. And well, this is a school that's going to be in the SEC in a couple of years, so good preparation, I suppose. They got Texas Tech end of March to open up Big 12 play. This one grounded up the middle. Diving try for O'Dowd. He's not going to get it. 2 runs are in on the base hit from Vastine.
Vastine has had a good weekend. No, he didn't have any hits up until that point, but the way he approaches the game and the way he approaches his at-bats, you expect to see some big things from him this year. Very consistent approach at the plate.
And going up the middle with it. Got to make the coaches happy. 12 runs on 10 hits now. 12-2.
Wow. That looked like a good pitch right there. He's been very good behind the plate today, though.
TJ McKenzie with a couple of doubles. Last one drove in a run. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Texas will have the middle of the order coming up in their half of the 6th inning. First meeting between these two schools since the 2014 College World Series, in which Vanderbilt beat Texas, got into the final, and they went on to beat the University of Virginia for the first title in a men's sport in Vanderbilt history.
They've been close a couple times. They've always had some really good teams.
Or runner-up actually after they beat Virginia the following year, when Virginia came back and beat them, and then in 2021 the All-SEC final against Mississippi State. Swinging a chopper to third on the hop. Carlson's got it, goes the short way to second, and that will spell an end of the inning, but not before Vanderbilt plates 3 more, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. Vanderbilt by 10 over Texas.
Protecting what matters most is the mission that matters most. At Lockheed Martin, we know today's threats come from behind, above, and below, and we make sure those who serve stay ahead of them by connecting platforms necessary to dominate every domain across air, land, sea, space, and cyber, using technologies that protect in the same moment they detect. The mission is a safer, more secure world. Our promise is to help make it happen.
Welcome back to Globe Life Park. Yeah, Vanderbilt does some interesting things in between innings. We've seen guys doing calisthenics, handstands, hopping over. Looking at Vanderbilt's recent history, that is a lot of their college baseball history has become in the recent years of Tim Corbin. Last 21 years, twice winning the national championship, twice, as we mentioned, runner-up. 3 times conference tournament championship. But like we talked about, Mike, before Tim Corbin came to campus, there were only 3 tournament appearances, period.
Right.
And now they've been to the tournament 16 consecutive times. And Tim now by far the all-time winningest head coach.
So now it's safe to say that you expect them to be there again this year, especially with the pitching staff that he has, and we've talked about it before. Said, what do you attest your great pitching to? Good pitchers, bringing in some great guys to be able to throw strikes. So that's an important part of it, but the development as well. And that's the one thing that if you look across all college sports, the development, because of your grooming guys to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And when they get there, they seem like they've been there before. So that's a great move by him, and it's pretty exciting for this program, and they have a lot to be excited about.
As we anticipated, that was the last inning, the previous inning, the last one for Futrell, in line for the win. 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 runs, only 3 hits allowed. So Bryce Cunningham will take over and issues a first pitch strike as he deals to Gil Metz, also Flores and O'Dowd to hit in the inning here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And working quickly right back to the box. Lines out to the pitcher. Easy enough. Yeah, you know, with all the major league prospects and the development, 12 drafted in the top 10 under Corbin, and they've had 2 first overall picks in Dansby Swanson and David Price. Only Arizona State with 4 has more. Everybody wants to come to Vanderbilt because of their track record as well, developing guys for the next level. Something to be said there with the impressive resume, and not only on the pitching side, just overall side of things.
No doubt about it. And again, you know, when you talk to Coach Corbin, you really like the conversation because he's going to give it to you straight. He's not making things up, and he's just going to be honest with you, and that's exactly what he's been doing.
Popped high into the air. Right center field. Brad Field calling everyone off for the 2nd out. And O'Dowd will come out. Whereas we were discussing the first 2 days, Texas struggles to drive runners in with guys on. Well, they really haven't had that benefit, but they were in an early hole after their defense, surprisingly enough, was the story, and not for good reasons in this one.
Yeah, it was not their best performance defensively, and as a young team, and I know you're going to hear that a lot this year, but there are other teams across the country that are young too. But you got to come in and expect to play well. That's an important part about it. You come to these universities like a Vanderbilt, like a Texas, you're supposed to take it and run with it. They didn't recruit you just to come there. They recruited you to play and play well right away. But speed of the game is going to be a big, important part for them. But you look at what is going on at Vanderbilt with R.J. Austin.
Yeah.
He's playing the hot corner, making plays and driving the baseball. That's what's expected.
Quick inning for Cunningham, setting down the Longhorns in order. We head to the 7th inning, 12-2 Vanderbilt. Welcome back, everyone. Globe Life Field for the first of 3 games. And Arkansas, Oklahoma State showing up. Yeah, you know the Arkansas fans are coming early. Have they ever been late to a baseball game? The answer, no. And then Missouri, TCU after that. It's been a little different. Offensive explosion certainly for Vanderbilt. Second straight day. They've combined for 23 runs over the 2 days, but a lot of miscues in the field that we're not normally accustomed to seeing. TCU certainly putting on a clinic through the first 2 days of this one. Their fans happy to see 29 runs across against very good opposition. Vanderbilt, they put up 11, then 18 yesterday against Arkansas pitching. Speaking of pitching, we have a new pitcher for Texas, Chase Loomis, redshirt sophomore from Godley, Texas. Did not play 2022. Missed 2021 with surgery. Didn't play in that foreshortened 20 years. So a long-standing, long-waiting debut for this young man for the Longhorns, coming in as the 5th pitcher of the day.
Yeah, he's Loomis, his father, Mark, is a special assignment scout for the Seattle Mariners, and he also pitched at the University of Texas. So this is a big day for the Loomis family. Mom played basketball at Texas as well, so he's been around the program for quite some time.
Texas making some other changes as well, and we already documented Daly, but an O'Dowd, that was in a couple innings ago. They came in there to replace the starters who had struggled in the field in that second inning. 5 total errors, 2 each by the second baseman Duplantier, shortstop O'Hara, and then 1 by Gilmet last inning.
And then Thomas has come in to play first, replacing Cam Constantine.
Thomas had been starting there the first couple of days. Swing and a miss and striking out Espinal. Bradfield and Austin to follow. It has not been your traditional kind of game, that's for sure. I think we documented that to no end in the beginning of this one when 12 batters came up. And not a single earned run was scored at the time. Vanderbilt has added 1 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. Texas has scored 1 in the 3rd, scored 1 in the 5th. Trying to avoid going down to 0-3 in the showdown as they did a couple of years ago. But hey, if they go 0-3 in the showdown, they'll take the end result from that season in which they finished 3rd in the nation. This one grounded sharply, foul by Bradfield, who walked, stole his 95th base of his career, and then later scored.
Yeah, we got a chance to watch him run a little bit, and that was something that all the scouts are here to see. Yep. And we got a chance to see him in center field, track down the ball, looking effortless.
This one grounded hot to second base. O'Dowd goes to Thomas for the second out of the inning, and R.J. Austin will come up. Austin with a couple of hits. Yeah, Bradfield's been rated in a lot of these mock drafts. Some have actually put him toward the top. Number 8, I think the MLB.com preseason ranking had him. So we'll see. Well, you know, a lot remains to be seen. Still so early in the season between now and, of course, the draft in July.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. It's still early in the season for all these players that are playing. And, you know, some guys get off to a slow start, and then you look up later in the year and hitting 370 with 40 bags and 10 home runs. And you're like, huh, that's not the same guy I saw earlier in the year. But you can recognize the talent right away on a lot of these kids.
Pitch up and in. Well, you know, a couple of years ago was "Remember the Arlington" was the rallying cry. I mean, I don't know if Alamo wasn't replayed just the one time, but they might have to renew that cry again because that year they just went on an explosion. At one point, they won 16 in a row. They started last year 11-0 before losing their first game. Certainly still a lot to be determined on the Texas side of things.
Yeah, it's interesting. Started 11-0 and went 0-2 in Arlington. I mean, in the World Series. So, you know, there's give and take, right? Yin and yang. So you got to see what happens and let the season play out.
This one chopped left side. Oh, nice play by Carlson. Fires across the diamond. And there's the Texas defense we're accustomed to seeing. A 1-2-3 inning for Loomis and the Longhorns heading to the bottom of the 7th. Stretch time, and yeah, those Longhorn fans want to stretch it out a little bit. Maybe not stretch it out too much. Back with more after this.
So Dania Sibumana, Jungle Kid. And he is from the Congo.
From what I know where Dunia is from, it's very dangerous. On one sunny day, they were playing on the edge of the jungle.
The chimpanzees just came out of nowhere and attacked me. It was just like shocking seeing a chimpanzee in front of me.
We will never know exactly what happened to Dania that day. Dania remembers waking up and seeing his face just hanging.
Wrestling saved his life, along with that park ranger in Virunga. He found his identity through wrestling, and he found his confidence through wrestling.
I would describe Dania's wrestling style as exciting. You know, he takes it to you. He doesn't back down, doesn't take any time off. He's just on you, on you, on you.
I couldn't imagine besides that first when I came here. I just knew that it was a miracle that I was still alive and things happen for a reason.
Welcome back, everyone, to Globe Life Field. Arkansas fans are always dancing and ready to go. For baseball coming up, Arkansas will be playing Oklahoma State. Approximate start time, 2:30 Central here on Flow Sports. Ben and Pat will have that one for you. If you want to talk statistics, and we've seen some oddball stats here today, all you got to go with is we have a stat locked and loaded for you about the middle infield. Not really great for Texas. They've been on hitless at the plates. 4 strikeouts, 4 errors.
Yeah, not a good look at all. And that's something that, as we talked about earlier, they're going to have to work on that and kind of get those jitters out of the way. Duplantier came back and made a good play in the hole earlier in the game after those errors. And then you got another ground ball by O'Hara that he ended up fielding. So they're going to grow up in front of our eyes. So that's something to pay attention to.
A strike taken, yeah, and you talk about some of the guys who matriculated, moved on, drafted, what have you for Texas, and let's face it, they're replacing a lot last year. I mean, you talk about a once in a generation player like Ivan Melendez, but saying nothing about the contributions of Skylar Messenger, who was so important last year. Murphy Staley, who we mentioned earlier. Doug Hodo up the middle in center field. Silas Ardoin behind the plate. That's a lot of guys to lose. A lot of production, a lot of leadership that moved on from last year as Constantine strikes out.
Thomas,
who replaced Constantine, strikes out. And Carlson will be up.
Yeah, we talked about it. There's a ton of it that you just continue to look at and you say, okay, who's going to be the next guy to step up?
Yeah.
And who's going to become the leader?
Luckily, the college baseball season's a long, long, long question. So you have a long time to answer that one. It's not multiple choice, more like an essay question, which I think makes some people's blood curdle. Carlson fouls it off, walked and scored in the 3rd inning. Lined out in the center field in the 5th. Cunningham taking over for Futrell, 2nd inning of work. Futrell is back to the Futrell, right? Because he 9-3 last year. And he was solid here in the open.
If you're Vanderbilt, you're very excited about the way that he pitched today.
Skyness one to right field and right center field. Kenzie grabs it. 2 away. And Daly will come up. Pinch hit back in the 5th inning, stayed in the game, flied out to right. So they'll bring on Daly, who started the first 2 games here. Yeah, and you know, the coaches, even in the beginning of the week, are a little still a little trying to figure things out, right? Because even Josh Holliday from Oklahoma State told us, really, there's some guys that they don't have available, not because of injuries per se, but they don't want to necessarily extend them too much and risk losing a guy or risk rushing a guy back from, you know, the nicks and bruises that they have in the preseason. But I remember, you know, asking David Pierce about the rotation this weekend. He's like, yeah, I got my rotation. And
yeah, he wasn't just giving it to us just yet.
Sometimes it feels like Woodward and Bernstein trying to get answers out of these coaches.
Yeah, they don't want to give you everything.
No.
They want you to earn it a little bit.
Like, meet me in the parking lot in the dark spaces. I'll give you the rotation.
Right.
Cunningham, swing fouled off. But these are not your typical, you know, opening weekend series when you're playing an SEC competition. And then also guys that you're going to be facing in the not too distant future in conference play get to see up close and personal, right? It's a perfect scouting opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I've been more impressed with when you start to come to these types of events where it's just one side SEC, the other side Big 12, and you get a chance to look and fill out your scouting report, as you said.
Wow, 6 up and 6 down against Cunningham, who has struck out 3 in his 2 innings of work. We're through 7 innings. Vandy 12, the Horns 2.
At Higginbotham, for 75 years, we've put you at the center of everything we do. The people you care about, your community, your business, your success. We listen to what's most important to you, because that's what's most important to us. People First Service drives us. Leading with values defines us, but you make us. Higginbotham, insurance, HR, and financial services, inspired by you.
Welcome back. Well, for Texas, this isn't your father's Texas Longhorns. You know, a lot of youth, and we said that with 3 freshmen in the starting lineup the first 3 days here. And today, David Pierce in your picture there, and started a freshman middle infield of Duplantier and O'Hara, and they had a tough time of it, especially in that second, Mike.
Yeah, it was a real tough inning for all of them, and ground balls coming to you rather sharply, and it's the first time that they're getting a chance to play in a big league ballpark and playing for the University of Texas. So there was a lot of pressure on those guys. They didn't do well at the plate either. So it was just a tough day all around. But as I've said before, they're going to be able to snap back. And that's why they brought in Jack O'Dowd and Mitchell Daly, who were the starters throughout the weekend. So they gave the young guys a chance to play, but then they went back to old reliable.
Yeah, they did. This is a field we said moves fast. This is only 5 stadiums in the big leagues, along with Chase Field in Arizona, Lone Dent Park in Florida, Rogers Center in Toronto, Tropicana Field in Tampa, that have artificial surface. But with this synthetic surface, that they have a lot of research went in. I mean, they were studying how to make the perfect artificial surface at Auburn. Somebody overseeing when they were building this ballpark. They wanted state-of-the-art, and they wanted something that not only would help the flow of the game, but also keep the players from getting injured, which was a discussion in another generation about artificial surfaces, going back to the AstroTurf in Houston.
Yeah, you think about that and how technology has changed the game so much. We talk about analytics, but it's also changed in the field surfaces and how everyone is using it.
This one's skied by Shrek, calling everyone off. Kennedy make the play. Going to bring up Hewitt, who was in the midst of everything. Reached on an error both times in the second inning, stole 3 bases in the inning, and scored 2 runs in the inning.
So you said he had a good day, huh?
Well, an interesting day at the very minimum, yeah.
And the uniform is dirty, so there you go.
Everything that'll make a coach happy, I guess. Getting on base, putting pressure on the defense, and making sure your jersey is not as clean as it was before. And now stroking one to left field, but right there, Brown to get it.
Another hard hit ball by the Vandy boys.
The Vandy boys. Dropping the anchor, you know, and it was interesting because they say that and the Commodores, but Cornelius Vanderbilt was a railroad guy. I don't know.
Find out something new.
Yeah, it helps. It's for whom the school is named. You gave that $1 million endowment at a time that $1 million was a lot of money. Now $1 million is it's
still a lot of money.
It's still a lot of money, believe me. Yeah, I know. I hope to one day get paid with commas in the salary.
Right now, I'm just sticking with the decimal points.
I'm just trying to round up over a year.
Right.
I don't want to hold out my hand and get a change dropped in it. Parker Noland doubled and scored, tripled in a run in the third. For a moment there, we saw more triples and singles, more extra base hits. And I mean, Alan Espinal had that grand slam first pitch swinging in the second inning. You would have thought he was a regular home run derby participant. Had only one career home run coming in and only 24 at bats before today. Just how that 8-run second was for Texas.
Smoked that baseball. When you look in that dugout and you see the smiles on their faces, you understand that that's what it's about.
Takes a pitch loader. You know what? An interesting little bit of arcanity for Vanderbilt that I came across, because what else would I possibly do with my time on my hands? But you know, in Vanderbilt history, as far as the coaching, you know who actually coached Vanderbilt's at one point? It was Grantland Rice. Base hit to right field. You know, the guy that coined the term fourth horseman for Notre Dame? Mm-hmm. He actually coached Vanderbilt baseball at one point.
Wow.
The more you know.
That's right. You're like an encyclopedia over there.
Yeah, we coached Vanderbilt in 1908. Back in the day, 11-9-2 was their record that year.
Could that even be considered back in the day anymore?
That's not that back in the day.
That is too far back.
No, it's not a minute ago. That's well, in the grand scheme of the history of civilization, it is. This one popped foul grounds, and it will actually be a fair fly. So Diaz retired on one pitch, and Vanderbilt is retired in the 8th. All right, we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, top of the lineup for the Longhorns, 12-2 Vanderbilt.
Let's go!
Commodores up to their antics out there in left field, stretching, turning over, chilling. I like it. I don't know. You see some college baseball teams doing that, and there was one guy before doing a handstand, and then a guy jumped over him.
Is that considered a workout type of thing or yoga?
I guess. It's odd to do it in the middle of the innings, but you see more and more of that, right, with the college baseball teams. There's Eric Kennedy. It looks like, is he being called back? Going back to the dugout, start the inning.
Yeah, it does look like he's being called back. Unless he grabbed the wrong helmet or bat.
Cunningham out for his third inning of work, number 97.
Yeah, he got called back.
Tim Corbin gives out some unusual numbers to the pitchers, but they've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it looks like Texas will have a pinch hitter. Looks like Max Bellou, the freshman, will be making his debut for Texas. That's been the ongoing theme for the Longhorns, and he'll get a chance to take some cuts here against Cunningham. Cunningham's been good. Retired all 6 to face him. 3 strikeouts in relief of Futrell, who went 9-3 last year and is in line for the win here this.
Max Ballou, a local kid from Aledo, Texas. So now he's getting a chance to make his collegiate debut around some family and friends in the Metroplex.
It's always cool to say, hey, I made my collegiate debut here.
Right.
You know, of all places.
Great point. My question is, when did he find out he was going to make his debut? Like 10 seconds ago?
I mean, you know, Kennedy was halfway to the plate, so maybe even shorter than that.
No doubt.
So you got to always be ready, right?
Right?
All of a sudden, Kennedy's going to the plate. He's like, no, you come back. Ballou's coming in. Takes the first 3 pitches out of the strike zone. As mentioned, Vanderbilt be busy. Back at it Tuesday, Wednesday. Central Arkansas, then UAB, and then they've got UCLA on the weekend. Striking. UCLA always reloads the pitching. That is for sure number 17 in some polls. Vanderbilt preseason as high as number 6 D1 baseball and Baseball America. Full count. They were 11 in perfect game in the preseason polls, number 9 in collegiate baseball. Swing and a miss. Wow, how about a way for that to come back there? Cunningham comes and strikes out his 4th guy, especially falling behind 3-0, and just fires 3 fastballs over the plate.
And that was happened right after Espinal went out to talk to him and kind of calmed him down, and he came back and threw 3 straight strikes.
Cunningham, a guy last year, made 12 starts, 6 appearances, 2-1 with an ERA of just over 4.5. It's funny, we were watching a replay of the Grand Slam earlier from Espinal, who, as we mentioned, had in a home run in the better part of 2 years. He hit that home run, and it had been a long time. I mean, the guy only has 24 at-bats coming in, and he's on taking off on a full sprint.
Right.
You know?
Well, you better run hard because you're not used to hitting them out like that.
It's funny, when we saw Alan Espinal, and I wrote down the note when his last home run was, I had a funny feeling. There it was, first pitch he had seen of 2023, and he hits it out. Vanderbilt really never looked back in this one. There's Ace Whitehead. Took over for Dylan Campbell in right field. Campbell, who doubled and walked twice.
I think he got the strike called on him for the clock a second ago.
Yeah.
Second time that I've seen that.
Two and two the count. The pitching clock, as we've been discussing, certainly now becoming a talking point across baseball at all levels, but also college baseball. Swing and a miss, and we've seen guys striking out for not getting back in the box. Speaking of strikeouts, it's 5 for Cunningham in his 2 2/3 of an inning. It's going to be interesting down the line when you get this situation where the clock's running down. You get the tenseness of a tight game. And if a guy steps out of the box during a rally, bottom of the 9th inning kind of situation, you know, the rules say you're out, right?
It's a constant conversational piece in the dugouts and amongst the coaching staffs as well, because you're going to have to be very versed in this deal and try to reprogram yourself in the batter's box, where it's like you don't have time to be walking around anymore.
It throws another variable into those tight games down the stretch later in the season. Yep. You know, not only do you have the acumen at the plate, on the mound, but is your head still in it? Because you get late in those games, sometimes they run a little longer, and maybe you're not thinking about everything going on there. The ones that are staying on it mentally too.
Right. You have to definitely be engaged with the ball game, and that makes sure that all of your thought process is geared towards what if.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what ifs in this game now.
4 out of the strike zone. It's the first base runner faced by Cunningham, who had struck out 5 before that. 33 pitches. That was number 34. Vaughn, who got the start yesterday and taking over for Garrett Gilmet here in the top half of the inning. Now getting his first chance to step in against Cunningham. That's 5 straight out of the strike zone. Vanderbilt, 12 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 5 errors for Texas.
Yeah, that's a tough go for sure. But again, like we talked about at the opening, if you put pressure on people and stay applying the pressure, keep being aggressive on the bases, you have to make people catch the ball, throw the ball, and catch it again. So it's pretty intense that way.
Strike 2 to Galvan at a Sinton, Texas, all-state, 4-year starter there at Sinton High School. Applied movement science major. Swinging around and striking out. So despite the walk, Cunningham comes back, strikes out the side. He struck out 1 in his first inning of work, 2 in his second inning of work, and here in the 8th, he strikes out 3, and we head to the last frame in the 9th inning. Vanderbilt and a lot. Back with more after this. Welcome back, Vanderbilt, Texas, the first of 3 today. Well, you talk about crooked numbers in baseball. That's probably the crookedest. 8 runs in that second inning, all unearned. And that just kind of set the table today. And yeah, there's another odd number at the end of that scoreline. 5 errors for Texas. Something you don't normally see, especially from a team that only made 37. 37 errors all of last year. They had 5 errors. 4 of them came in the second inning alone.
Right. It's a tough day out there, but you said it. You lose your shortstop in Trey Faltini. You lose Skylar Messenger at third base. Although both of those guys on the left side of the field are 2 of the best fielders in Texas history. Mitchell Daly, who's now playing shortstop, was the second baseman last year, and now you had to recruit and go and get some new infielders. So things have changed around the 40 acres. But I know that they're going to put some work in and be ready to go. And I wouldn't expect to see the same performance later in the year as we just did today.
New pitcher for Texas, David Shaw, who we saw yesterday coming in. He represents the 6th arm we've seen for Texas following Staley, Hurley, George, Burke, and Loomis. Pinch hitter for Vanderbilt. Got Chris Maldonado, the freshman, coming up. Hit .353 as a freshman last year. Bastine given away to Maldonado out of Short Hills, New Jersey. Was the team captain their last couple of years. Sister Alexa, softball at Notre Dame. Brother Nick was at Vanderbilt. Is at Vanderbilt, I should say, pitcher.
We got a chance to see him yesterday.
Yes, we did. So if anything for Texas, a lot of the arms have had a chance to at least get some throwing in this weekend.
No doubt. And that's what you want to do here. I mean, it's still early in the season for both teams, and the more guys that get reps on the mound and get their footing, it's important. High pressure situations. just trying to find the rhythm. That's the other thing, too. A lot of these guys have been facing each other at practice the entire time. Now you're starting to see them face different opponent, and now they have to execute those pitches where the guys don't even know what they're throwing.
This went in on the hands, hit over toward first base. Thomas there, first out of the inning. McKenzie spot up, but that's not McKenzie. Troy Leneve, senior from Pittsburgh, will come up. Last year, 20 appearances, 9 starts, hit 176. Brother Zach played at 4 different schools, including North Carolina. Takes low and away from Shaw. It was just an interesting second inning, and it kind of set the tone for the game. And Vanderbilt came up, and second straight day now they've scored double-digit runs.
Yeah, they've been very impressive and steady.
Yeah.
You know, they've been steady, and we talked about it when we talked to Coach Corbin. It's the pitching, and then the hitting is going to take care of itself. But the one thing that they will do when they get on the base, they will run.
And that is the tenor of this team. I mean, they led the SEC last year in stolen bases. You know about their pitching. They're one of the best pitching staffs in the SEC, perhaps this side of Tennessee. And they've showed it today, you know, how much they're going to be relying again on their starting pitching. And, you know, Cunningham's come out of the bullpen again. It's very atypical to see a Vanderbilt team give up 20 runs in 2 games as they've done the previous 2 games to this one. But again, you know, we talk about that just because our sample sizes are small, you know. Pitch away. That's about the extent of what I remember from studying statistics. I was forced into it. They twisted my arm behind my back.
I don't think anybody forces you to do anything.
I was a communications major, Mike. Why were they making me study statistics?
Well, because they knew you were going to write them down.
Well, and and they probably knew I was going to, you know, cover baseball at some point.
Exactly.
Need them.
You probably would have worked well in the analytics department.
Yes. Yeah, that's a nice way of Mike saying I had no ability on the field, that I was a nerd and probably could have done better there. And you'd be right, Mike Harge.
Some people are destined.
Yes, I know. Even Pat looked over saying, yep, Danny, no size, no strength, no stamina. You're good to put a coat on and cover up those arms.
It's about doing what's best for you.
I tell you what, Mike, so the show that I do for the Pac-12 Network, one of the things that I did this year, and I played baseball not very well, which is why I'm here, but I got in the cage with Arizona State baseball team in the fall. Oh, my goodness. The skills weren't there in the first place, but those are men. Don't be fooled by their ages. When you start swinging the aluminum there, trying to hit a home run, even in that park, yeah.
My biggest question is, how did you feel afterwards?
Oh, my God. You should have seen my hands. They were bleeding.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they get sore quickly.
Oh, I went to the little miniature golf place and took, what was it, 180 cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, my hands were covered in blisters and blood. Been a while. I think some of the late 90s. All right, enough about my athletic exploits. The exploits of Shaw, pretty good. Strikes out 2, retires the side in order. We're heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 12-2 Vanderbilt. Last ups for the Longhorns coming up right here on Flow Sports. Welcome back, everyone. Danny Lee and Mike Hardball Harge here at the College Baseball Showdown 2023. We want to thank Higginbotham for putting on this event, as well as all the folks at the Texas Rangers. Our guys in the truck. Come on, I mean, you got to give love to them.
Got to definitely give it to them.
Because you and I, Mike, you know, we had the doubleheader yesterday. That was a long day for us. And, you know, Ben and Pat had a couple of doubleheaders, the second of which are coming up. But those guys are in the truck from the morning to the evening to the late night, and they're back again early in the morning, and they're drinking that Trucker's Choice coffee. And they're putting up with us, you know. So thank you guys, everyone in the truck there, doing solid work again. It's been a great event again.
Yeah, they've done great with the camera angles.
Yeah, they are.
Got my record back up to 2-1.
There you
on
go.
the challenges. Yep. I'm leaving here with my head held high.
That's a Hall of Fame career there, 2 for 3. There you go.
That's what you got to do, right?
In true cameraman fashion, hiding behind the lens there.
Get me off the camera.
Yeah.
I want to be behind the camera.
Peyton Powell standing in there, getting a chance to swing the bat as Flores, who had gotten all the cuts today, 0 for 3, 0 for 9 to start his career. But you know, Jalen Flores, based off of what he has shown high school level, preseason level, you're gonna be hearing about him in a completely different light quite soon here.
No doubt about it. And that's with a lot of these young players for both squads. You know, they're getting their timing and getting their opportunities. But it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, you've had your moment.
And on the hands, flying it out to right field. And the catch made out there in right field. That was J.D. Rogers out there in right field. Let's see. Well, it's been this kind of day for Texas.
Yeah. You just try to keep your head down and keep it moving.
J.D. Rogers, a sophomore from Carmel, Indiana, replacing, it was a pinch hitter for McKenzie, a Maldonado pinch hit for McKenzie. So you got Rogers out there in right field now, and the change is certainly abounding. It's Cunningham looking to get the save, finish off this one. He's already in his 4th inning to close the door. Pitched very well. 6 strikeouts in relief of Futrell. This one popped up to the left side. On the run, still going and overrunning the ball. That's Ivan Arias, who's now in on the defense for Vanderbilt. That shift all the way over. Arias at third base for Austin here. And that's a shift that, you know, in the major league level won't be allowed anymore. That's going to be an interesting thing to see in the major league level, how they combat that new rule where you have to have 2 guys on the infield dirt on either side of second. We've heard some talk where the left fielder might come all the way over to the right side of the infield on the grass, and you'll have a roving center fielder. We've heard motion plays being discussed. It's a new day of baseball, ladies and gentlemen. So it's something to look out for coming up here.
The fact that we are even having to discuss moving outfielders to play a shift because you can't move the infielders. You're right. That's a new day.
This one lined to left field on the run. Yudi looks up and it's, we got another catch out there?
I'm telling you, bring your glove to the park and make a play, and dun-dun-dun, you're on TV, baby.
Yeah. Take a bow right there. Fantastic job. You know, I think they're giving him some love. Why not? Seen some great gems in the stands.
No doubt.
Fastball to O'Dowd, a native of Nashville. He did transfer. He did play at Vanderbilt in 21. It's going to lace to left center field on the run, looking up and making the catch. For the second out, that's Calvin Hewitt actually moves out to center field.
He's got some good speed out there. Replace one guy with some more speed. So
the left fielder is now Matthew Polk, who we saw at the DH spot first couple of days. The 2 away, last out for Texas here. Danger of dropping to 0-3 to start the season. Jared Thomas takes strike 1. As mentioned, they'll be back at it. University of Texas A&M Corpus Christi on Tuesday, and then they've got the Hoosiers Friday to Sunday, pitching the dirt. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt, Central Arkansas on Tuesday, UAB on Wednesday. First meeting between these two teams in 9 years since the College World Series. Cunningham trying to close the door and get the save after pitching very well to give Futrell his first win of the season. And now Texas down to its final strike. Swing and a miss, and why not? The 7th strikeout for Cunningham, blazing it by at 93 miles an hour. He picks up the save, his first career save. The win, Futrell after winning 9 games, tying for 2nd place in the SEC last year. The losing pitcher, Staley, 3 runs, 3 innings pitched, 8 runs, none of them earned in a very, very odd 2nd inning, which saw 4 Texas errors, 5 for the game. Texas held to just 3 hits, Mike. And a very atypical weekend for the Longhorns, but like we talked about, the Longhorns still trying to find their footing, a lot of new pieces in the lineup.
Yeah, it was a very disheartening weekend for the Texas Longhorns, but it was a great weekend for the Vanderbilt Commodores. They came out, they pitched the ball well, threw a lot of strikes, and then when the opposing pitchers threw strikes, they put the ball in play and put a lot of pressure on them. We talked about it during the telecast. Texas is a young team, but they need to grow up fast, and they're going to get to work and continue to fight. But Vanderbilt, this is a good-looking baseball team with a lot of experience in certain positions, and they did all this with all the runs being scored without Bradfield even having a great weekend. So that's a good look for the Commodores, and the Bandy boys will be ready to go this weekend.
Yeah, by the same token, we always talk about Vanderbilt's pitching. The last couple of days, you know, they've been handling the bat very well. They had 11 runs scored on them in the opener, but then came back with 11 runs against Oklahoma State and had to just stave off the rally by the Cowboys. And then they come back here today and a 12-2 score. Granted, it was more of what Texas kind of miscued in the field than them putting the but they did put the pressure on with the stolen bases, and they did get a lot of hits up and down the lineup.
Well, the other part of it too is the power was being on display as well. Balls in the gap, opposite field home runs, deepest part of the ballpark you get a triple, ground rule double. They gave us a little bit of everything, and you know, you talked about that one inning. That one inning gave us everything that you could possibly have in a baseball game, from the errors, the stolen bases, multiple stolen bases in the inning, home runs, balls all over the place. They had a great day today and a great weekend thus far.
Vanderbilt victorious 12-2 over Texas. They go to 2-1. Texas drops to 0-3 for the 2nd time in 3 years at the Showdown. And there's Tim Corbin. Stand by, see if he'll join us momentarily here as he's given the win one for the Gipper speech, but they did win that one today, certainly after beating Oklahoma State yesterday. But they're going to be back at it. They got the longest trip home of all the 6 teams here in Arlington. Going to be back at it right there on Tuesday. So as much of a grind as these games were for these teams, you get 1 day of rest, Mike, and it's right back after it.
That's the beauty of baseball. You don't get a whole week to sit back and think about where you failed or what you did great at. You got to get back after it right after Monday. Like you said, the day off, and then right back to the grind of playing baseball. So I know that both of these teams are excited for their season, and they look forward to the games that are coming up as well.
Speaking of Oklahoma State, their fans waiting in the wings. But, you know, Arkansas, they've always been waiting in the wings. I mean, you know, they're there at the scrimmages in 30-degree weather for the season. They've come in large numbers to Arlington, hoping to see a different result than what they saw late into the night last night when they take on Oklahoma State. And then Missouri and TCU will be squaring off at 6:30. Approximate start time about 2:30 for Arkansas, Oklahoma State. So about an hour here on Flow Sports. And Missouri TCU 6:30. And we're waiting on right now Tim Corbin, head coach at Vanderbilt. Coach Corbin, thank you for joining us. Coach, I got to ask you, because I've been watching. We were talking before this whole showdown started, and you're a baseball guy. You've been watching the game, as you mentioned, with your dad for years and been around the game for so long. I've been watching a lot of years, too. I've never seen an inning quite like the second inning, 8 runs unearned. Coach, have you ever seen anything quite like that?
Well, I'm sure at some point. I mean, the biggest thing is trying to take advantage of it with good swings. But, yeah, I mean, we did a good job of getting into that inning and crossing the plate. But it happens. I mean, we've been on the other side. So you feel for that situation. But you got to take advantage of it from an offensive department.
Coach, you were very aggressive on the base pass today, too. And that was something that we talked about when we did the interview with you last week, about the aggressiveness on the bases. And that was my keys to the game. I wanted you guys to come out and keep swinging the bat and be more aggressive. And even on the mound, your pitchers were throwing the ball well today. What can you take away from what you saw today?
Well, we had a good rhythm to the game. I mean, strikes is the biggest deal. I mean, that keeps the rhythm of the game. And Devin did that, and Bryce threw the best 4 frames of the tournament for us. So from that standpoint, we got on and off the field quickly defensively. And you know, offensively, we like to run. I mean, we're capable of doing that. I mean, I think it's cyclical. Some years you don't have that type of speed. Other years you do. And this is the type of year where we run pretty well and guys want to move.
And, Coach, it was like yesterday you were holding court there in your dugout before chatting with us. You know, you score a lot of runs yesterday, scored a lot of runs today. As you mentioned, Futrell came back. You talked about him having one of the most consistent freshman years last year. Yep. Had a nice start today. Bryce Cunningham comes out, strikes out 7. What are your takeaways from this weekend that you're going to have to move forward ahead to a couple of days from now?
Well, I mean, this is a great tournament from the standpoint of the resistance that you're playing. I mean, it's really good teams. So regardless of what you do inside of it, I think you get answers. I mean, you get exploited in some areas, and that's what you need at the beginning of the season. It would be easier to stay at home and get comfortable. Those games are tough, too. But you get an environment like this where you know, I think the kids feel it. We certainly were a little bit tight, I thought, in the batter's box and on the field on Friday. But we kind of settled in. Yesterday was better, and I'm not saying this because of the score, but, you know, I felt like today we were playing a lot looser, and it looked like just the concentration and the approach inside the batter's box was a lot better.
Well, appreciate the conversation, Coach. Win number 843 is a 12-2 victory over Texas. First meeting between these two programs since that 2014 College World Series run. Thanks so much, Coach, and good luck going forward.
Best of luck, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure working with you all weekend long, and our work together has been completed. I want to say thank you to you. Appreciate working with you. All the fellas in the truck. Max McGilligan not working on an island. Not McGilligan's island, because he got a lot of help there too, but we appreciate you, Max, and all the good peeps in the truck and doing the work here at Arlington Globe Life Field. Once again, the final score, Vanderbilt 12-2 over Texas. This is Danny Lee saying so long. The first one in the books today, but we still got 2 more. Stay tuned. Ben and Pat will come your way in about an hour. Arkansas, Oklahoma State, then Missouri and TCU to follow. Thanks so much for watching here on Flow Sports.